Welcome to the 117th episode of the Nerdom and Other Nonsense anime podcast. Today we are bringing you the first half of our Winter 2020 season first impressions, based on the first few weeks of shows that have aired. As always, we'll include timestamps in the description of the YouTube video and the podcast feed if you only want to hear about one or two of these shows, since we're going to spoil pretty much everything we've seen so far. My name is Bcom, and I'm gonna max out my defense so that when I when I find a small abandoned girl in the woods, I hate you, Leo, I can raise her and defend her from a ghost that lives in a toilet. Also with your cat and Leo.
That's an odd set of goals you got there, man.
I hate you so much. Oh my god.
That was last minute too.
I like that you put those two shows together. That's kind of fun.
I tried to write something in there about being turned into a lizard for the weekend, but it didn't work.
Yeah, right. It's a little hard to get in there.
It didn't really, couldn't get to work.
There's a man living inside of my stomach who has those goals and crawled out of my mouth.
Yeah. Are you biting people's heads?
Yeah, absolutely. Give me some more gyoza, please. Please.
Oh.
We'll talk about Dorohedoro later. So, let's get to some nonsense. Let's see what's been going on with us.
Some nonsense.
Yeah.
For reasons that I won't go into, I finished all of Monogatari recently.
How do you have an actual episode count for that?
I had watched through halfway through Monogatari's series' second season. So I had to watch like the second half of that season, which was like 10 episodes or 11 episodes. And then there's a bunch of stuff that came after that, like little shows like Hana Monogatari, Suki Monogatari.
Yes, and they're all awesome.
Yeah, I've seen some of them, but not everything.
Some of them are okay. I like some more than others.
I've seen all of them because I'm a secret pervert. I don't know. Am I a secret?
That's not a secret, Cat.
I mean,
not
it is a very like Suki Monogatari, especially. There's like a whole episode that's just like a bath scene with like his sisters.
Yep, and you're just like, why is this continuing to be a bath scene? Because it's still not over.
It'll never live up to the teeth brushing episode.
Oh no, I mean it's pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would say, the one with where they almost have sex is probably the better even than the teeth one.
Jesus.
God, yeah.
Yeah, that one's really good.
I had left the Kizu Monogatari movies, the movie trilogy, till like very late, like after I watched Owari, because I was basically determined to watch them in the order that they like initially aired, even though like the author wrote the Kizu Monogatari books or whatever, like right after Bcom Monogatari. So like in the timeline, you're supposed to watch it then or whatever. But that was like the stuff I was most impressed with, because Kizu Monogatari was like incredibly well animated, like fight scenes. And it also got rid of a lot of like the annoying, like, you know how like they'll pop up some text in between scenes in Monogatari every like 5 seconds to like give you like exposition from what's happening in the novels at that moment. They don't do that in the movie. They just like show you a fucking cool action movie, and it's kind of great. So I was really like, I really enjoyed the Kizu movies. I also thought like Owari Monogatari was pretty good, especially the second season, like the 2-episode arc where he takes Hitagi on a fucking date for once. Finally, that was cute. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, there's a lot of like trashy fan service in there along the way as well. But it's so fun. What you guys been up to?
You go, Cat. What do you got?
Well, so I'm no longer being harassed by my cat, first of all. Like, there's no cat jumping up on my laptop or anything.
Did you draw the line, finally?
Yeah. Well, so my new boyfriend, like, pointed out to me that there's a thing called a squirt gun, and you can use, like, that, like a spray bottle, and you can use it. And I was like, oh, yeah. And so now I just have one, and anytime he jumps up on the table or like in the kitchen, I'll just be like, and like get him.
I have an image in my head of Cat dual wielding spray bottles now. She's got one in each hand.
Yeah, the first few times he like got confused. He didn't understand what was happening, and I like absolutely won't let him in the kitchen anymore. And so I was just spraying him until he was like soaking wet, and he just stood in the corner like, what the fuck? And he was just staring at me. And then he finally was like, oh, okay, I can leave. And I'm like, yeah, you fucker, you can leave.
He's like, I thought I trusted you.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you've taken control of that situation. Showed the cat who's boss. That's the important thing.
I like pick it up now, and he's like, "Oh fuck," and he like leaves. It's kind of nice. He's like, "I have the power. Leave me the fuck alone."
Psychological warfare works against cats, apparently.
Yeah. In other news, I watched Weathering with. Is it Weathering with You or Weathering with Me?
With you, yeah.
With you.
Makoto Shinkai's newest joint.
Yeah, I watched that in theaters, which, I mean, I can see why he wanted so badly to make that into a movie, because it's just all rain scenes.
Yeah,
and, like,
right?
he fucking loves to animate rain so much.
Oh,
I'm
man,
sure
he
the whole
does.
time he was just eagerly, like, talking to his animators, like, and in this scene, it rains again! And his animators are just like, ugh. And they're like,
he probably gets like rush cuts back, and then he just writes in big black letters, "More rain."
I
And sends it back to them.
And they're all just like, this motherfucker. It was
Rain
interesting.
cannot be easy to animate. It sounds like a nightmare.
It's terrible, especially the way he animates it. Like, he's so detailed.
Yeah, it's like translucent, and you see like the light coming through it and all that stuff. It's nuts. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like,
And it's going every which way. Like, there's always that shot in a Makoto Shinkai movie, or multiple of them, where it's just like looking straight up at the sky as the rain is falling down at you. You see that a lot. Yeah.
yeah. There were a few where like it's on their face, and he's doing like special effects, and I can just imagine him being like, but on his face it needs to be like this, or like in the after commentary, he talked for so long about how he would like animate the rain and I'm just like, I know you like it. I know. Okay? I'm sure that you make your animators want to shoot themselves in the face. I understand.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know. He talked a lot in the after thing, which I thought was interesting, about like comparing his studio to Ghibli. I don't know if you saw those after comments at all, Bcom.
No, I didn't see that, but I remember around the time that Your Name came out, there was like these news articles because it was making so much money that it was almost like a Ghibli movie. And so he got a lot of comparisons to Hayao Miyazaki at the time. And he was like, no, I'm not him. He was probably trying to deflect as much as he could, basically.
Oh, I think he's kind of grown into it. And didn't it eventually make more than... I mean, it is the highest grossing.
I think Your Name may have. Yeah, it made a lot of money. Yeah.
So I think once it surpassed all the Ghibli movies, he's kind of like, yeah, no, I'm the shit. Because I mean, some people were asking questions, and he's like, well, but we wanted to do something different with this film. We wanted to be innovative, not like Ghibli. We don't want to make the same film again and again. Like, we want to like innovate and da-da-da-da. And I'm just like,
but he made the same movie. I mean, like, basically, like like Weathering with You draws so many elements from like Garden of Words and Your Name and
but
5
he did
centimeters
also
per
do
second.
some things differently.
Yeah,
Like
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, like he did break some of his molds, where instead of it being like, and then they never saw each other again, like it wasn't like that.
I liked the girl's little brother.
Yeah.
Like the main guy was like looking up to as like a senpai the whole movie. That was the funny running joke that I enjoyed in that movie.
Yeah, that was interesting. I find it fascinating that he has such a thing for older women in his shows. Because like even in this one, that's another thing
older,
he broke,
what's the age
but like
range
kind
you're
of
talking
not.
about?
So like
in Garden of Words, it was like late 20s or 30s, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
But I've noticed it's always like a couple years older at least.
Yeah.
And even in this one, like it ended up being that he was older, but like throughout the movie, you thought that the girl was older until the very end. My theory is, hey, don't you fucking fight!
I was getting ready to type in the chat, like, I'm hearing something in somebody's background.
There's a
and I'm
tiger
not sure
fight
what
going on in
was.
the pit behind Cat's house.
I literally typed, I am hearing, and then you started yelling at them. And I was like, all right, that's who it is.
Anyway. But I think that he must have been like obsessed with some older teacher of his or something when he was in high school or college, because there has to be something that makes him so obsessed with older women in his shows. That sort of thing isn't just like, but this is my interest. It's like, no, this happened for some reason. Like, tell us your dark tale. Like, come on.
Why does it have to be dark?
Here's the thing, Kat. I'm way more into animation creators being obsessed with older women than the opposite, which seems to be the thing for so many of them.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not exact. I mean, especially if he's in high school, I'm not like going to be like he was abused, like whatever.
Oh, right.
And you never. It may just been like a really intense crush, or whatever. But it's just interesting to me that's like something. I almost wish that some interviewer had asked him about that. So like, what older woman did you have a crush on? He just stutters and is like, "What do you mean?"
He's like, which one?
Oh man.
But yeah,
So,
there were some unfeasible things in it. Like he basically drowns all of Tokyo, which I'm kind of like, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. There's some climate change aspects to this movie, I would say, for sure, and how like the younger generation has to deal with it. That's definitely a little like underwriting theme of the whole movie.
I also found it interesting. There is a gun in this show, and the amount of commentary from the Japanese press on the fact that a gun existed in the show when it really nothing happened with it was like so large. And I'm just like, all right, like, but no one got hurt with the gun.
Yeah, but that just tells you this is a Japanese film.
I know. And like,
Exactly.
they kept commenting like, I really want to know what American audiences think of this. And I'm just like,
Honestly,
we're just like,
almost
okay,
nothing.
fine.
we're like, I mean, it's nothing happened. We didn't think anything of it. It's interesting to me that they thought we were gonna have like some really intense reaction because like we know guns or something. I don't know. It's funny. But
All right, my big thing is I brought it up. I'm pretty sure before once is my big game right now is Realm Royale. I play pretty much on the Xbox, but it's got cross platform. And it's also on PC and PS4. It's free to play. It's a battle royale game. I love it so much. There's no building in it, so yeah, fuck you, Fortnite. I hate the building in Fortnite. But what it's really cool is you get abilities in the game. And that's kind of how you curb your play style, and you try to do good combinations between like 2 or 3 abilities. And that's what really sets it apart. But they just got a big update. It does kind of suck by a studio called High Res, and they've kind of sort of given up on the game, but they just came out with like another update. Well, not necessarily giving completely up, but like they've completely reduced their number of people.
I'm spraying them from across the room to break it up.
God. The noises that just came out of your cat.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But there's still like a small crew working on it. And they just came out with an update literally yesterday from the recording. And there's no battle pass, but if either you do or you don't know what that is, there's no more battle pass. But what's really cool is like their store rotates every day, like specifically for you, like 5 things that you don't have. So, and you can you earn the currency for it in the game. They like really upped it, like so you can earn it. So like, yeah, you can get something easily 1 week if you just do your dailies and stuff like that. But the coolest thing that they did in this update is they updated the Forge. And what the Forge is, I'm going to try to really not lose somebody on this. Like if I lose Cat, I knew I've lost everybody. So the Forge is an in-game thing. And when you kill people in the game and you scrap items that you don't want, you get a currency in the game called shards, and then you can go to the Forge and you can like forge for a new weapon, an ability, a support, offense, and like a movement, or you can get a rune, which is a passive thing. But that's always been in the game. What they did this time is you can now upgrade one of your weapons because there's different tiers, just like in any game. So that's huge. That's like the best thing about the new update. Unfortunately, they broke one thing in their update. So like different weapons, they get buffs or debuffs, or they change things up. In PC, there's a weapon called the Firestone Staff. It's not like, it wasn't a problem. On console, that was pretty much the best weapon in the game. And one of the classes you can be is you can specifically forge for that weapon. Okay. They gave it a fucking massive buff, which was completely unnecessary. It was already super strong on console, and I just played a couple matches before we started recording with my buddy, and every duo match we got killed by 2 people running the fucking mage with that goddamn Firestone staff. It's way too strong on console right now. Like it's like kind of breaking the game like that, because every time we go up against 2 mages, there's almost nothing we can do. They just hit so fucking hard.
So wait,
just too much damage.
Are they not like developing the PC and console version separately? Are they doing it together and it's like just buffed as hell on console?
No, because there's cross-platform play.
Oh, cross-platform. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so they can't. And like, I guess it was there was a different staff that was really strong, but it was really good on PC. And like just watching a video one day, and I'm like, that one's okay, but it's not as good as the other staff. And then the other staff's the one that got buffed, and it's just like fucking insane. But I love the new Forge stuff, and I'm addicted to this game. I don't know.
Yeah,
why.
it's cool that you're still going with it because it's been a while. Like, so it's definitely hooked you for that long. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is interesting for sure. I don't get much out of it.
I'm
glad that you're happy.
I'll probably watch some of it on Twitch because I have never really watched Realm Royale like be played.
The only person that actually streams it is called Baggins TV.
Okay.
You can watch his stuff on YouTube
Bilbo
also.
Baggins.
That's kind of who it's after. He's an English guy. He's pretty cool dude. He's really good too at it, but
okay.
I checked out one of his latest videos, which I'm only halfway through, and he's getting ready to play a game. He hasn't mentioned the Firestone staff of like maybe it's too powerful on PC, but
okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Like I said, free to play. If anybody wants to get on Xbox and play with me, I'm down.
Yeah, hit Leo up in Discord. He'll make some time to play. No problem.
I make time to play every day for that game.
Yeah.
There's dailies. I got to earn those crowns. I need those skins out of the store.
All right. Let's get into some anime. The first half of anime in this podcast.
Is that what this show's about?
Apparently. Ostensibly.
Maybe. I don't know.
I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's been a bit.
Well, wait, what did you think it was about, Leo?
Oh, I thought it was just about us talking about nonsense and
well, that's
cats
like
screaming
that's
in the
half of the name of the podcast, so it's fine.
I mean, part of it is that me entertaining them by screaming. Let's
And the
be real.
cats screaming in the background are the best part.
Holy fuck! Doesn't my cat scream like he's being killed in an alley?
Look, the cat screams like it is your cat. That's how it screams.
Yeah, that's yeah, pretty much.
That's a good way to
takes
put
its
it.
cue from its owner.
Oh my god! Because it's funny because Tux is such a quiet and like shy cat until the other cat like attacks him, and then he's like "fuck no!" and he like screams. Maybe he got it from me. He's like, I've seen my owner do this all my life.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god,
boy.
This is just a natural reaction. Yeah, so we have one show continuing that we covered last season, which is Chihayafuru 3. So I'll just get into what's been going on in the recent episodes of that with 13 and 14. So basically we're getting closer and closer to the Queen and Masters match. So we're at the finals of the qualifiers for that. And so like the Queen, Inakuma, like the former queen, the mom, she pretty like quickly just defeats Megumu. She basically the whole deal with that was that she had become even more cognizant of like the sounds that she already was really good at hearing when like, you know, speakers are like saying the syllables of the poems, and this, because of her match with Chihaya earlier in the season. And so she pretty much just like really crushes Megumu in 2 matches and it's over. But so like the big focus gets to be on the match between Dr. Harada and Arata. Man, their names are really similar now that you say it out loud. So Chihaya gave advice to Arata basically that he can't beat like their old mentor just by acting like himself, which probably, I don't know if it's the best advice, but like, I don't know if she had told Arata just to play his own game if he would have done better in this match, but basically what comes out of this is that Arata is just not as experienced as Dr. Harada is, and he's not as like mean-spirited, and he's not as competitive. And so he goes off and he comes back, and for the next match, he basically says, I'm going to channel my grandfather's playstyle, because he knows that Dr. Harada was like in awe of his grandfather when he was growing up as a Karuta player. And so that kind of throws Harada off his game for a little bit, but not too long. There's also this whole side thing going on where Chihaya's like in between matches running into like the current master, Suo, who really badly wants a girlfriend. And he's like so awkward about it. And like Chihaya's asking him all these like karate questions, and he keeps being like, don't you want to ask me about something else though? I don't have a girlfriend, right? I don't have a girlfriend. It's like the way he's so awkward about it is kind of funny. And like there's a certain point where she realizes the next match is going to start. So she like takes his hand and like drags him back. And he's like, I don't have a girlfriend. And she's like, me neither. They just keep going. That was fun. And so, yeah, this whole arc like kind of reminds me, if anyone has seen March Comes in Like a Lion's second season, there's an arc there where there's an old shogi player who's ostensibly over the hill, right? But it's called the Burning Field arc of that show. And he is like in a match against a younger competitor, and it seems like he should just give up and like let the new generation take over. But he like reaches like deep down within himself and finds like a way to like overcome that and just have like one more try at victory. And that's basically what happens in like episode 14 with Harada. Like he just reaches down. We get this explanation about when he was a young karate player coming up, he was like on track to maybe become the master, like in his early 20s. But you can't make a living off playing karate because you don't make much money from it, even if you're the best. So, like, he had a job as a doctor, and he got posted in Okinawa, and then like all the way in Hokkaido. Both places, like, nobody plays karate. So, like, he lost his edge when he was young, and when he got back to Tokyo by like age 37, all of his like reflexes were gone. He was basically considered to be over the hill. But then he got involved with that karate society that like all the kids joined when they were little in the first episode of the show. And he basically wanted to train people who didn't have like elite game sense, like, that natural talent, how you can win karate games without that. And basically it's by like taking any advantage you can, no matter what. And playing really offensive karate, going after cards. Like there's a scene in the match where like he like clearly hits a card and faults, and then Arata's like, didn't you hit that? And he's like, if you think I did, then send me the card, buddy. And like he knows that Arata is like weak-minded and like kind of polite enough that he won't, so he gets a card that way. Like he wins that card because he's an asshole. And so that's like, yeah, he pressures Arata like as much as he can, and the match ends with Arata just faulting because he's under so much pressure and he's trying to be his grandfather, not himself, basically. So it's pretty cool. After the match, some key things happen. Like everybody's really happy for Dr. Harada, obviously. And Arata himself, like he realizes he was like determined to take some specific cards at the end of that match. And Chihaya comes up to him and he asks her, like, what would you have done in my place? What would you have done? She's like, well, I would have taken those two cards that you were so fixated on, and I would have sent them to Harada's side to try to take them because they're very special cards to me. And Harada, like, just kind of confirms for himself that, like, oh yeah, I'm fixated on those cards because I'm in love with this girl. And I've been in love with her since we were little. And so he tells her, he says, I'm in love with you, Chihaya. And so he finally fucking confesses. Chihaya's jaw drops through like the fucking center of the earth. Her brain is broken. She doesn't know what to say. And also, like, at the same time, Taichi is like running because like Chihaya had come into the room with a scarf that Suo had put on her because she was outside looking in earlier. And Taichi like runs to give this scarf back to Suo because he doesn't want Chihaya owing this guy anything. And Suo's like, well, what are you to Chihaya? And Taichi just lies and says he's her boyfriend. And Suo like runs off and he's like, no, I'm divorced. No. So yeah, they're both getting closer to the idea that they want to be with Chihaya. I mean, like, Taichi's been there for a while, but he's just straight up lying about it. And Arata's actually making moves. So that was pretty exciting to see. That was like probably the most that the romance has progressed in a while for now. So that's good stuff. Good episode. And I was happy to see Dr. Harada like get his moment to shine in the limelight. So yeah. What do you guys got up? What other continuing shows do you want to talk about?
Oh, is he done? Okay.
Yeah,
I think he's done.
Okay.
Thank God.
Oh my god.
You
I
assholes.
was like, I don't know if I can do it. Oh man. Okay.
I'm still watching Black Clover. I'm completely caught up with it.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I guess
impressive.
I hadn't put like My Hero on here either, and I had like caught all the way up with that as well. Yeah, but if you want to talk about Black Clover, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't really want to spoil anything for it, even though we spoil everything else. But
Yeah.
it's still good. They still every once in a while the animators they drank some extra coffee that day. You can tell, and like there's just a really good fight, and you're just like, ooh, that's very pretty. So, and they kind of just wrapped up one. So, 120 episodes, I think, right now. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, it's pretty good. I think if you're like a fan of like Naruto, I don't see why you wouldn't like Black Clover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar. It really
It's-
is.
it's-
People are like elitist and they want to be like, it's not like Naruto, but it is. Stop being a baby.
If you like either, I think you'll like the other. There's no reason to not think that.
Yeah, people who want to be that way they're like, no, this is the thing I grew up on, so nothing can be as good as that. Especially not this, because this doesn't seem good to me. Newsflash, you're an adult now. When you were a child and you watched Naruto, you had a different perception of it than if you watched it now. I guarantee you. Just saying. Not saying I don't still love Naruto, I do. But it's definitely different watching it as an adult.
Yeah.
Okay.
Asta still screams all the time and yells a lot, but like, it's just, if you made 120 episodes, it's just his character and you just don't even, I don't even hear him scream anymore.
You wouldn't register even anymore. Yeah.
It doesn't even register. It's just like, he's just being Asta. Woohoo.
It's like Zenitsu or Inosuke screaming in Demon Slayer. Like at a certain point, I just don't hear it anymore. It's just in the background. Who cares? Yeah, I caught up like all the way on season 4 of My Hero Academia, which I was surprisingly enjoying a lot more than I usually do.
You did not like season 2.
Yeah, and parts of season 3 I didn't like either. Because, well, I had like all sorts of issues with it, but like one of the main was that they just do nothing with the girl characters. And like, they've kind of remedied that in season 4 by just doing nothing with any characters except for like 4. Because it's basically just like Deku, Kirishima, and then like Ochako and Froppy. And that's basically it, besides like the villains that they're fighting and like their mentors, because they're all just doing like internships basically now. Deku's working with this guy named Night Eye, who used to be All Might's partner back in the day. And yeah, they're just doing like professional internships basically, and it's very focused on just those characters, which is kind of interesting, because it feels like a bit of a smaller show that way. But it's been pretty exciting as like all this stuff is playing out with the new villain Overhaul, who is a pretty interesting dude. He basically can, he can just like basically force you to. Wait, Leo, what is his power again? Fucking Overhaul. I'm blanking right now.
I can't remember. Is this the guy with the beak mask?
Yeah, the beak mask. He can basically like touch you and like change like your fucking whole like existence kind of thing. I don't know. And he can stop people from like using their powers. And he's like developed a drug that can like suppress your quirk. And that's interesting. So you can like kind of like use that to control heroes, basically, if you can like use it against them.
Oh, this is the arc with the little girl with the horn too.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. Deku's like been saving that little girl, and there's been some pretty cool fights. Like there was a cool fight with like Kirishima. There's been cool stuff with Mirio, who gets his like quirk like taken away in one of the fights, which is pretty nuts. We also find out that like Mirio had been set up to be All Might's successor, but All Might changed his mind at like the last minute to Deku, which was interesting.
That is interesting.
Just because he like believed in him, you know, he saw himself in Deku basically, which we already knew.
Well, but it must have sucked for. I mean, she's like, yeah, you know.
Well, Mirio doesn't know, but like, so Sir Night Eye is the one who, because Sir Night Eye has this ability to like see the future, basically, if he can like touch you and lock eyes with you for like a minute or something. So he did that with All Might, and so he saw in the future that All Might is going to die brutally, and he's been trying any way he can to change that future. And so the whole thing has been like, is it possible to change the future that Night Eye sees? And Night Eye's like, no, you can't. And Deku's like, I'm cool though. Maybe I can. And so it's been about that, basically. It's been pretty good so far. I'm enjoying it more than usual. So, I don't know.
Interesting.
All right, want to talk about current anime?
Yeah, I definitely think My Hero Academia has just continued to be good overall. Like, it's never dipped in quality. I'd say, like, even Food Wars, when that's been on, there are times where it dips.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, well, fuck. And you're frustrated. My Hero Academia never happens. So.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
All right. So, first new show that aired this season was called Somali in the Forest Spirit.
It's a good one. It's a really good one.
It's on Crunchyroll. It's from a web manga. Studio Satellite is making it. And the director, Kenji Yasuda, worked on like Macross Delta and actually Hakado Tonkatsu Ramens, which we talked about a lot when that aired. So this, I don't know. I think this show has like really gorgeous background art, and that's like the main draw for anyone.
I agree. I think the big thing is like everything looks pretty beautiful the whole time.
Yeah. Like the dynamic between the two main characters is one that I feel like we've kind of seen before. It's like an old, like sort of inhuman man, this golem guy, who is like a forest guardian person, basically, not human. And then this little girl who he meets on his journeys named Somali, who is human. And in this world, humans are persecuted against by like,
well,
different
aren't they
types
supposedly like extinct?
Like, yeah, there's supposedly, they were basically like hunted to extinction or something. Yeah.
Like people have been eating them because they're just so delicious and they're just so obnoxious.
Yeah, and like the first episode is like one of like, obviously all first episodes you kind of want to set up your world building, but like this one's like really like, all right, this is what happens in this world, this is how it goes down, the humans are extinct almost, and then just blah blah blah. And like I thought that was first episode, and that I'm cool with that. Sometimes you just got to get that out there and get it out of the way in the first episode so you can watch the rest of the episodes, which I was fine with. But just like even into the second episode, I'm sitting here and I'm like, don't we already know the ending? And like,
yeah.
And it didn't grate against me. I was just like, I don't feel that compelled to watch more because I'm like, I probably know how this is going to end. I mean, like, I don't see you pulling something out of your ass and just like, like just doing something crazy that I could not predict. Like, this is going to end one of two ways, and like that's just like how I see it. And I'm just like, so why should I keep watching other than it's eye candy?
Yeah.
Well, okay, but like I think it will be kind of like Mushishi or something. I think they will go to different places. They'll have like adventures in each place while they're like searching, and it'll be interesting week to week in that way. And then at the end, you're right, it'll be like, get the violin out, everyone. He's dying. Like,
yeah.
And the golem guy who is so like inhuman and like logical, he's clearly gonna grow a heart over the course of this. So by the time it comes to end this show, it's gonna be really sad if he dies. Basically, is how it's gonna go.
I've seen a couple tweets where some people are like, "I can't watch this show and not shed a tear." And I'm just like, but you know this was going to happen. I mean, it's not new.
I mean, some people like to let themselves be taken on the ride.
They've been broadcasting it from like episode 1. They're like, he will die. Like, just so you know, he will die. So like, if you cry about it, then that's on you. I don't know. Like,
I think if you get really invested in the characters, and then that's like when it makes me emotional with it. But like, I'm not getting emotionally invested because my brain's like, don't do it. You're just going to cry. So like I back off.
I mean, sometimes it's worth it, but yeah, I will say I enjoy this, watching it. I don't,
Yeah.
well, I think it's well made. I think that even if the storyline's a little bit predictable, it's not surface level. It's got some depth to it. You know, I don't find it to be boring or childish or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can tolerate the show. I enjoy it. And it's definitely something like you don't see every season, this kind of show. So
No, it's unique in its own way, for sure.
I just
Yeah.
don't think it's the ultimate evolution of anime, though. Like the next show.
oh no, I mean, how many anime are ultimate evolutions of anime become? How many? I mean, come on,
Dragon Ball Evolution.
we get like one a season if we're fucking lucky. That's this is what anime should be. I mean, come on, you can't hold all anime to that standard. We'd be sitting here like acting like we're shitbags all the time.
As my introduction into the next show, I, for some stupid reason, still read the manga.
Of course
and I
you
know
do.
no.
way them fucking better to even watch this
my
show.
God. Okay, so like you're sitting there trying to do a transition, and I'm like holding on to this first show with everything I have, trying to keep talking about it. And Bcom and Leo are like, no.
We gotta move on, Kat.
Nope, we have to talk about Darwin's game.
Oh
we
my
have
God.
It's on Funimation. The source, like Leo said, is a manga. It's from Studio Nexus, and the director Yoshinobu Tokumoto worked on Comic Girls, which was kind of cute. It's noteworthy that Kenichiro Suehiro is composing the music. He's done the music recently for Golden Kamui. He did Granbelm last year too, which had a nice soundtrack. And ReZero, Girls Last Tour, he's a really good composer, so the music will be great, if nothing else. I will say I loved the first episode of this because it was just fucking
did?
hilarious.
Okay.
Okay,
I
I think I was the same way with the manga
episode.
because I was like, this is so crazy. It's funny. But the manga, it's so... I could not explain to you what is happening right now in it. I do not understand what is going on. The creator has to be literally drawing ideas out of a hat, and he just goes with wherever the first one is. It's all over the place.
It's very similar to Mirai Nikki or like the Future Diary, like that, and that it's like this death game that's played basically with your cell phone. That you're all involved in, and like this guy gets sucked into it, and he meets this super hot but like kind of crazy girl in the first episode, and it's just like, oh wow, this is just the Future Diary all over again.
I also like how Kat, it reminded you of a slave anime where you talk about Dorohedoro.
Yeah. It reminded me of either Dorohedoro or that Zodiac anime that we watched.
Oh right, yeah. What the hell was that called?
You know, what is it with Japan
what
and
is
these
that?
fucking animes like this? Why is it that they're fascinated with game shows where everyone dies? Is this just like because they have so many game shows in their like on their TV? Like, is that what
maybe.
this is?
It seems to be like a really common horror thing for them. It's just like, you're in a game show. Yeah.
Yeah,
Junie
it's-
Tyson.
Junie Tyson
Yeah,
is,
Junie
is the
Tyson.
one.
It reminds me of
Jesus.
Junie Tyson or Dereku, or King's Game.
Oh,
That was
King's
like
Game,
even
yeah, for sure.
worse in terms of like so bad it hurts. But I don't know. It's like they're all very similar in plot. Like the theme will vary like a little bit, like the rules, but it's pretty much the same thing. And they're all pretty trashy. The animation is actually decent in this one, which I'm kind of like, oh, they wasted all of this. Like, I'm so sad.
Which is weird because Studio Nexus has like nothing in their repertoire. They have like nine shows.
Yeah, Nexus has not made much stuff, especially not much good stuff.
Yeah, and then like the animation, like I don't know, the obvious romantic interest is so it's just like have a baby with me. Oh, now you have to climb the ranks so you can ask me out. Like
Oh my
be
God,
a
it's
family
so
with
hilarious.
me, and then but it's not romantic. But tee we're on a date, but it's not romantic. And I'm just like, well, this is what we've seen like 50,000 times before. So
as the show has gone on, I've kept watching it like week to week, and it's just gotten kind of boring. They do add another cute girl in, as you would expect. But yeah,
because no bumbling idiot can settle for one hot chick.
Oh no, of course not.
Yeah, you gotta have at least two.
Especially when the first one's just like throwing herself at you, asking to have a baby immediately.
Oh, I know. You'll never be satisfied.
All, as we talked about earlier, the younger age type.
Yeah.
So far in the beginning.
And yeah, it sort of just like focuses on like the strategy of the game, and that can get a little bit boring at times. So I don't know.
Oh god, that goes out the fucking window, man.
Oh, really?
And then his strategy is like, but I don't want to kill anyone. And I'm like, well, but it's literally called Darwin's game. So I feel like at some point,
bro.
like you're going to kill someone, and then you're going to be like, I'm conflicted about this. Like, I mean, come on, it writes itself.
I completely forgot he was like that at one point in time.
See,
boy.
and I knew, come on, it's not going to stay that way. But yeah, anyway.
Nah, he's all about killing now. He don't give a shit. It's kill or be killed. He kind of figured it out finally.
Yeah, obviously. It's pretty obvious.
Well, just move on.
You would,
this show does not need this much time.
It's fun and dumb if you enjoy your King's games and stuff. Check it out. It's fine.
Yeah.
Asteroid in Love on Crunchyroll.
See, and I looked at your notes for this, and I was like, Bcom likes this fucking show. Why am I surprised that Bcom likes the show?
I love to torture you with one of these shows like every season. It's the best.
Let's see what on Mal this has.
Oh, this has a low rating on Mal, actually. Pretty low, I think. The last time I checked... I'll introduce it while you look. So, the source of Asteroid in Love, it's a 4-koma manga.
That always worries me when they make a full show out of a 4-koma.
Yeah, when they adapt it, it can be rough. The studio is Doga Kobo, who, God, I hate them so much most of the time. Because they just make the worst fucking anime, like Wadaten and all this garbage. Pedo show shit, and this show is finally not like that, which is nice. So you get all the really nice Doga Kobo, extremely good animation. Without
they did
that
Himoto Umura-chan.
So it's a 6.8.
Yeah, which is I think that's
it's not average.
It's not terrible, but it's not.
It's
great.
A little below average, but it's not like in the gutter.
They did the dumbbell show.
Yeah, so they occasionally do good shows. This is the thing. The dumbbell was pretty risque at times, I guess you could say. But
to me, this show has no heart. Like, it's all just a bunch of cutesy girls that they're obviously shipping with each other, which is fine. Yeah. I loved New Game. I loved that show. This reminds me of New Game in some ways.
Mm-hmm. This is from them too. New Game.
Yeah,
is from them,
I love like subtly gay shows. I love it when there's like a sports anime that they're like, oh, look how we've shipped these boys together, or when there's like a show where a bunch of girls are being shipped together. It's cute.
Yeah, it's cute and fun to watch. Yeah.
My complaint on this,
there is way more bad in here.
Yeah. My complaint on this is not that. My complaint on this is it just seems like there's no heart to this show. Like, I don't find the characters to be that unique or interesting. I don't find anything in the plot to be different or to catch my attention. It's all just the same, like, we need to combine these two clubs. Like, we need to have enough people in our club so we can keep the club going. Oh, look at us. Aren't we all so adorable? Look at us as we do these cute adventures. And honestly, the plot doesn't even seem to have a solid, like, this is the goal to it.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm actually totally in agreement with you. Like, I really liked this show after the first episode, because I thought they were going to have like, oh, we're going to be an astronomy club. We're going to talk about astronomy stuff, and we're also going to ship the girls together, and we're going to have like these really cute, fun character interactions. And then like, it kind of just got boring because it's like half geology club, half astronomy club. And so they go do like geology stuff, which I don't know. I'm not a geologist, but geology is kind of boring sometimes. At least this show makes it pretty boring. And then when they do astronomy stuff, I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool, but like, it's not that cool. Like, they're not really focusing on astronomy in a way that's like, oh, I'm like really learning something awesome here. It's just like, oh my God, we saw a star through a telescope. Oh, wow. And it's just like, okay, I don't really care. Like, I could go do that if I want to. So yeah, I was like a lot less interested in like the second and like even the third episode of the show than I was the first. And so I think you'll be happy to hear that, Kat. But yeah, it's just it had a really great intro, and then it kind of dropped off immediately for me. And so I don't know. I still like the budding romance between like Ao and Mira, like the two main characters are cute, and how like Mari like eggs them on a little bit. I don't know. And all the characters are just really cute. So if you just want to watch like a pretty laid back show about like cute girls in a club and it's animated really well, this could be totally for you. It's just like, I don't know if it's that interesting to me now after a few episodes of them not really doing anything with that premise. So
Yeah. I don't know. I saw you being all like glowy about it, and I was like,
I
oh
was.
no.
After the first episode, I was, but then
Because I was like, am I going to have to try to not sleep through them talking about different types of rocks? Like, okay.
Like I was even falling asleep during the rock talk. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I was like, all right. I mean, I got some more Bang energy at the store. I guess I'm using it. Oh, and now on to another show that's interesting. More interesting. Is it Magia Record? Is that how you pronounce it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a side story of Madoka Magica. I really liked this. I think the animation and some of the things is really weird, but I think that's because it's based on the Madoka Magica animation.
Yeah, it's from.
I've never seen the original. So,
I haven't either. Not all the way through.
I felt like the visuals were really weird to me, especially with like when they go into like the witches lair.
Layers.
Fuck is this place?
Yeah, the director of this show is this like duo partnership, Gekidan Inukuri, who they basically worked on like the background art and like character design and like all of the witches lair stuff in the original Madoka anime. And so now they're in charge of this new anime, and so like there's obviously a kind of a greater emphasis on that like witches lair art style, which is like, really, really just weird, unsettling art, which is really cool to see. Obviously, this is based on, you can play it on your phone right now. There's a mobile game for this, Magia Record, and so you can get your Madoka girls and level them up to 5 stars, blah, 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 blah.
Your voice got so excited. How many hours have you spent on this game?
I know, I downloaded the game and played it for like a day, and I was kind of done, and I went back to my other gacha games because I just didn't really care. I don't know. I didn't really like the system of that game so much, and I care about the characters from the original Madoka a lot, but I don't really care about any of these new characters yet. And I think that's my problem so far with this show.
I definitely care about Iruha. Like, I want to know what fucking happened to her sister. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Why is she gone? What the hell? Like, and I mean, I didn't watch like Madoka the original, so I'm like, what did they do?
So so that's very different from the way I see it. So yeah, you go, Leo.
I see it very differently. So like, I just suppose when Iroha had her wish granted, the Cube whatever cured Yui's disease by making her never exist in the first place,
or like killing her or something.
No, it's specifically like her existence is completely gone, like she just never existed at all is what the show did. Yeah. So that's like, that's how I saw it.
Yeah. So for me, as someone who has seen and like really loves the original Madoka, it's like a 10 out of 10 show for me. Like, it's one of my favorites of all time. I can't help but compare like these main characters in the new one to the main characters in the old one.
Okay, look, I just looking at the character list in front of me, I'm like, aren't these all just like redrawings of the originals?
Like, exactly. It's like, so like when I watch this show, I'll group watch this show with friends like from week to week, and it's like, oh, it's like not Sayaka again, and it's like, hey, it's fake Momo and or fake Mommy, whatever. Sorry, and fake Hamura is back, and it's just like, I know I should have more respect for these new characters, but it's like hard to when it's like, oh, they're clearly playing very similar roles. But what's kept me interested in the show is that like the direction is really solid. It looks gorgeous all the time. It's just that the new characters have not drawn me in so much to the story yet. Like, I agree about Iroha's like situation with her sister being interesting, and I want to know more about that. But like the rest of the characters, I'm just like, oh, you're like cute gotcha girl number 7.
That's not
And I'm just like, I don't know so far. Like I would not be against like following this throughout the season, just because I think the production is so incredible. But yeah, I don't know. There was a feeling to the original Madoka that I don't get with this. There was like this really unsettling, dark feeling of the original Madoka that I think this one is trying to do again, but I don't know if it's succeeding for me because I just am not invested as invested as I was with the original. So
Okay. Wow.
the original also had the benefit of like a huge twist early on, and you can't really do that with a sequel because everybody's like, oh, expecting a twist to happen. And so you can't do it. You'd have to do it later if you were going to do it. And so maybe that's what they're doing. But they can't just retread the same story structure of the original. They also don't have Gen Urobuchi writing it, which was a big factor in what made that show so great. But yeah, it's still pretty good. So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. Like I was immersed in it the entire time, so that's something for sure.
Yeah. All right, next we have Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, which is airing on Crunchyroll. This is from Science Saru, the studio that basically Masaaki Yuasa works with a lot of the time.
It's intense.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I really liked this. So I saw this at Anime NYC, the first half. And so I was excited to finally see the second half of the first episode.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's an anime that's all about like passion and emotion for animation, especially like independent animation, as it follows these like 3 young girls who are in school together and like they want to start making anime together for like different reasons. Like there's Midori, who just like really loves like imagining new worlds and making them come to life. And then there's Tsubame, who is really great at drawing. And then there's just Sayaka, who just really wants to make money. And I think she's probably my favorite because like she grounds the other 2, who are the creative types, in the reality of like making an anime and like what's it going to take and like what's the schedule and what are you actually capable of drawing. And so in that way, it's like very much like a microcosm of like the anime industry because you have the producer and then you have like the director and you have all the artists. And so they all have to like kind of bump heads together to make something great.
Well, yeah, and you've got the different types of animation too, because like
Yeah.
Midori is very much like I make the scenes and I make the world, and you know, whereas Tsubame is much more like I draw the people and I make them pretty.
Yeah.
Like,
So I think this is a very good idea for an anime. Since most people who watch anime, probably all 3 of us here, we have an interest in how it's made. We want to. I mean, I'm sure we would all 3 be glad to sit down and like watch a documentary on it. Blah, blah.
Yeah. Or just Shirobako. More
Yeah,
Shirobako.
and I think
yeah.
and like adding an action/adventure element to it is also a great choice because you know it's even going to bring in some more people who otherwise wouldn't really watch it. My biggest complaint, I have a complaint though, and it bothers the shit out of me. It's the art style.
It is so, it's interesting. It's very different.
I felt like they could have made it look better. The colors don't pop. They're just like really faded, and like the character designs are just like super bland, and there's like really
I think
not
it's
any
supposed
detail to them.
I think it's almost supposed to be like the world that they would at this stage be
able to
creating.
draw. Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
because
so-
if you look at it, like the actual like the world, the detail of the buildings and everything is much more detailed than the character designs, and that would match like Midori being a very like good artist and having done this for a long time, whereas like Tsubame is not there as much.
Yeah, so like in my mind, I was making this argument because I was like, well, you know, all these negative things I can say about the animation, you could probably say about Girls Last Tour, which I loved.
Yeah, I loved it
But-
too. Yeah.
I think it works in the Girls Last Tour is because like I guess the girls' character designs kind of Chi and Yu's, they're like it shows their nature and how they kind of know nothing of the world, and like there's all the gray and dark colors, but that sets up the environment because the world is like dying.
Yeah.
And it just like really fits in the show, and it just doesn't fit for this show here.
Well, I'll say like
Is what bothers me.
Yeah, my favorite scenes in this show are actually like the ones where they're basically inside their own creation as it's like being formed.
See, that part I'm pretty cool with because they're like showing you a different part of the process. It's almost like a documentary of its own.
Yeah, they're showing you
but
like
then
the
it just goes back to them just like
yeah.
regular interaction. I'm like, wouldn't you want to show how good you can make it look at this part?
And, like,
maybe?
I think at some certain points it looks pretty good. Like there's some background art of like the city that they live in that I'm like, oh wow, that looks really great. But then
I
other
think the
times it's
background
more
art was
minimalistic.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Honestly, like the background art, like the river and like the different layers of the building. I mean, I think it's very detailed, really. But what really threw me is just the character designs more than anything.
Yeah.
What about the
know.
designs?
They're just simplistic and like I
Yeah,
don't
they're
know.
very simplistic. Yeah,
They talked about
but-
making girls that don't feel like girly anime girls when they were making this project. They were just like,
I get that.
which I liked.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
I don't know. I could even get past that though. Like sometimes the like dramatic, imaginative scenes that they make, like I get kind of bored with them after a while because I'm like, yeah, I get it. You're imagining all of this, and you've drawn this, and you've drawn this. Like you're going through this imaginary world. That's all great. Like, can we get back to the plot?
Yeah.
Like, can you teach me something about animation? But I get like sometimes it's interesting. I think sometimes my mind just kind of wanders if the scene goes on too long, and some of them definitely are quite long.
Oh yeah,
So-
that's for sure. Yeah.
who's Eizouken?
Was that the name of like the club at their school? I'm not sure actually. I forget. Because like in the second episode, they find that their school had like an old anime club. And it had like all this like leftover. Their
Like
school is like
equipment,
fucking rich, right? Because like in a shed, they had like all this shit to make like 90s cell anime, and like it was just like sitting there, dust like gathering dust, and it's like wow.
I can't remember what they called it, but it was a giant contraption where they could layer over everything with like a camera mounted at the top, and you just take one look at it, and you're like, that's not cheap. And that's very technical. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like I liked that scene where they were looking at the windmill that their like senpais had like animated back in the day when they were part of this club, and how they wanted to continue their work and finish it, and like looking at the windmill from an angle and deciding like how to make it look like it's spinning correctly by adding in between frames and stuff. It was really cool.
Animating the wind. Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, all of that stuff I think is like really interesting. But I think I can agree with both of you that like at certain points it's just like, all right, this is cool. Like now, like tell a story with this, like or like you're losing me slightly. But I think like I'm just interested enough in anime as like an art form that I kind of just like, gobble this show up, and I just like ignore like the boring parts and just like plow through because there are like really cool moments. Like at the end of each episode at least, where I'm just like, oh man, this is like all about like the power of like creation and creativity. And yeah, this show's doing really well. It's like at an 8.21 on Mao right now, so people are loving it.
What
It's
about
definitely
the power
something
of dreams?
different, and I always encourage. I like seeing these different things. I don't know how we would cover it week to week. It may get a little bit.
It might be just talking about like the
Free
various anime forms that they're talking about and stuff, but yeah, it might get freeform. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay. Like, I mean, it's still, a good show, and it's definitely something new. So we'll probably end up covering it just because it is different. So
I love different things.
I do too.
So Leo, I actually like am like torn on whether this next show is called ID Invaded or ID Invaded, because
I think it's Id Invaded.
It's
yeah.
because they talk about Freud
they
way
do
too
talk,
much.
yeah, they talk about Freud in that first episode, so it's
Which is sad,
It's at least a
because-
definite pun for
So
sure.
I read it when I first saw the show. I was like, ID Invaded. Okay.
Yeah.
But then after I got into the first episode, I was like, no, that's the id. They're talking about, like, in my notes, I say, do a little bit of light research on Freud.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of what's said is going to make a lot more sense. Then that's
It's
why
sad
I
that
know it
it's
says
based
id.
off of Freud too, because like so much of what he theorized about is such bullshit. It
Well,
makes
he
me-
was on a lot of cocaine at the time.
yeah.
So-
He
never
does a lot
helps.
of things to a lot of people.
So the studio NAZ, they made Anglemois, and some other shows that are not as good as Anglemois, like My Sister, My Writer. Not that Anglemois was like the height of anime or anything. We covered that and we were like, it's fine. The director, though, Aoki, is really good. He did Fate Zero, Wandering Sun, Recreators, and stuff like that.
Recreators, I didn't like that.
Yeah, I know we didn't love it, but it had like promise in the beginning. It just didn't fulfill that promise.
I think I remember hating on it very hard.
We did, especially because of the main guy being a total douchebag. We went on rants about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the ED is by Miyavi, who he wrote the Kokoku OP, and the ED, which airs in the second episode for the first time, I think, is really fucking pretty banger. So that's cool. Let me break down a little bit about what this anime is about, and then we'll talk about it. So, like, this brilliant detective named Sakaido is sent in this. Yeah.
The moment he speaks, I'm like, oh, it's Okada from Golden Kamuy.
Yep, he's back.
It's the exact same voice. And yes, it's the same voice actor, Suda Kenjiro.
He has a great voice, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the voice.
Oh, yeah.
Like, do it for all your characters. But, like, I was just like, oh, it's him.
So Sakaido basically wakes up in this virtual world that we later learn is called, like, the ID well or the id well, whatever. And he basically doesn't remember anything, but immediately starts to like put together what's happening from this weird fragmented world around him. Not only is the world like in pieces and falling apart, but his own body starts to like break apart into different pieces. But
he wakes up broken into different pieces.
Yeah.
It's interesting that like he from the beginning knows somehow that he is this detective and that he needs to make sense of everything.
Yeah, he has like a very strong sense that that's what his mission is, basically. It's interesting. And this world is created from, we later learn, what are called cognition particles that are gathered at like crime scenes. And so this world is from the crime scene of a serial killer named the Perforator. And so basically Sakaido is supposed to go into this person's like cognition well and like try to solve a murder or the series of murders that have been committed. I agree with Leo, who's going to say later, like this has a lot of hallmarks of Psychopaths.
Yep.
Like one of the people who like you run in, who runs like the agency or works at the agency that runs the ID well is named Matsuoka. And he's like with this young girl on the outside of the well while all this is going on named Hondo Machi.
I wasn't sure if that was a boy or a girl.
Me
for a
neither,
while.
man. When they said she was a girl at the end of the episode, I was like, wait, what?
I was like, thanks for at least getting that off my conscience.
Yeah. But yeah, so he basically tells her, because she's asking some questions about how this all works, like that he can't enter the ID well because he's never killed anyone. And so that's a prerequisite. It's very similar to Psychopaths where like the enforcers have to be criminals in some sense.
Speaking of other things, they also have a gun that detects people's killing intent.
Exactly.
Which is
just like the Dominator.
Exactly what the Dominator does from Psychopaths.
Yep.
So it very much seems like this is like Aoki's take on Psychopaths in a slightly different way. And yeah, like
it's definitely a different world.
Yeah,
sure.
It's absolutely a different world. Yeah, everything. But like there's just some similarities. It's like in the basic setup of it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he basically like, we go back to Sakaido and he focuses on like putting things back together. In the end, he finds that the only other person in the world who isn't fragmented like he and everybody else that he meets there is this dead girl who's like laying on the ground with a knife through her chest. And he's like, everybody else is broken into fragments. Why isn't she? And so he's like, oh, I get it. And he's like, all right, you get out of there. I know you're in there. And so this guy emerges. He had like basically like a jigsaw puzzle, like inserted himself into this girl on top of her. And like he like emerges from her in like pieces, fragmented pieces, like, and it's like, oh yeah, you found me, blah, blah, blah. And then like the second episode, because what happens is like that guy is in the real world, like getting hunted down by the police and the people at this agency who are gathering information from what's going on in the ID well. Like they can see like reflections of things that are in real life, like reflected in windows of the ID well. Like everything that they're doing is about like collecting information from like the subconscious of the killer to try and track them down. And so what happens though is the killer is very clever in real life. He like pretends he's killing some guy, and he dresses him up like himself, and he's able to like escape in an ambulance, and he hits Hondo Machi with like the ambulance, and then like takes her into some sewers into this like underground lair, whatever. And then he's like, oh, I'm gonna drill a hole in your head, because he's a serial killer. And like that goes on for a while. She's trying to stall, and they're trying to figure out from the subconscious what's going on. And then like Hondo Machi like basically like has him drill a hole in her head. Like she like leans into the power drill, which is pretty badass and also pretty insane.
She's just like, fuck you.
That's all you see is her leaning into it. So you don't know if it actually went through yet. It's his anime here. And also the killer also has a drill hole in his head that he somehow survived.
Yeah.
So like that's his big thing. He's also really interested in how that gun was able to find him. Like it's top secret that it can detect people's killing intent.
Yeah, and there's a lot of secrets going around that gun. Like we find out in the second episode, this whole system is called like the Mizu Haname system, and they describe Mizu Haname as like the god of ID wells or whatever. And then like the gun, I think, which is called like the Waku Musubi, is like supposedly the son of the goddess or whatever. It's weird. I don't know what any of that means. And like even the people who work at the company are like, we don't really know what we're doing. We just know that it kind of works. It's very similar to the Sybil system in Psychopaths, where it's like, oh, it oversees everything. It kind of works, but also like when you actually get to the truth of it, it's pretty sinister. And so, yeah, like because Hondo Machi was like a badass, they are able to open up a second well that they pull Sakaido out of the first one and put him into her well, and they're able to find a reflection of like her current location on like a drill bit in that well. And so they're able to like go find her and arrest this guy, which is pretty fucking cool how they like, I thought it was like really well done how they slowly put together all the information that they get. It didn't feel like they were like pulling shit out of their ass, which could be very easy to do with this anime. Like it felt like very like regimented, and like this, like everything that they were doing made sense. Every step that they were taking. So I liked that. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested with this anime. I definitely went into it thinking, oh, this is some new agey bullshit, and it won't be good. And then by the second episode, I was like, oh no, I like this. I want to keep watching it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So I'm excited to keep following it and see how it goes.
And there's clearly this big bad is this guy named John Walker, who you see like reflections of, and like, or like actually he's in the first ID well.
Yeah.
But like you don't know much about him yet. He's just got like a top hat and a cane, and his face is blurred, and it's like, oh, he's clearly gonna be the big villain at some point. So yeah. Also, you also find out that Sakaido's daughter died something like 2 years ago. And so he's part of his motivation seems to be like figuring out, or like dealing with that emotionally, at least. I don't know if it's like figuring out what happened, but yeah, he's still like sort of torn and motivated by that. So
yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Oh yeah, so okay, the next anime. So I don't know okay, it's called Dorohedoro. I'll just describe what it is and we'll talk about it. So it's from a manga that was like written in like the year 2000. So this has taken a while to get adapted. And this is Studio Mappa making it, who, you know, made like Doro, Banana Fish, a whole bunch of good stuff. Director Yuichiro Hayashi worked on Garo the Animation and Kakegurui. Yeah, so this one is interesting because it's going to air on Netflix. And like any Netflix show that actually airs, you know, simulcasting the rest of the world, it's getting subs, but it's getting subbed by like some anonymous subber who it's like, I don't know if these subs are even great or not.
I feel like we would pick up on it because I do, even when like Funimation or Crunchyroll fuck something up.
You're like, but that's not what they said. Yeah,
I'm like, that's not really what they said, and I haven't done that with this one, so I'm like, he's at least being pretty damn accurate.
Yeah, it seems like it's been pretty good so far. It's a pretty weird show, right? Like it's set in this world called like Hole or the Hole.
The Hole.
Yeah. Where these non-magic users live, right? including this like lizard guy named Kaiman, who's like sort of the main character, and this girl named Nikaido, who works at a restaurant and makes gyoza all the time, and he loves eating her gyoza, basically.
She, like, it's her restaurant.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
just doesn't work
you're
there.
right. You're right. It's her restaurant.
Yeah.
She runs it. And it's in this, like, really seedy neighborhood, but, like, the whole
is nothing but a seedy neighborhood.
True, because, like, these fucking magic users just, like, they have access to come in and out of the world through, like, these doors or these gates, and nobody else can, like, really leave. And so, like, they just come here to, like, hunt people. It's, like, a training ground for testing their magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which sucks. It really sucks for the people who live in
Which
this
is
world.
pretty much just turning people into, like, bugs or limbs into, like, weird shit. And that's how our main character was turned into a lizard, apparently. Except he has no memory of who did it and why.
Right, exactly. And so, yeah, it's interesting as he's, like, basically fighting back against this. And then, like, the other, like, really weird thing that happens, like, it's interesting because, like, Kaimon is, like, always hungry. Like, he's, like really hungry all the time. And then, like, the end of one of the episodes, like, he, like, opens his mouth. He's like, oh, my stomach. And, like, this fucking, like, man crawls out of his mouth covered in blood and, like, looks back at him.
That's the dream he has.
Oh, that's a dream?
Yeah, that's a dream he has. It's a recurring dream he keeps having. But like he'll bite on people's heads, and then the man will come up
and talk to them,
and look at them,
or look at them.
And he'll be like, "You're not the one, or you are the one," trying to figure out who turned him into a lizard.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "What did the man inside me say to you?" And they're like, "I'm not the one." And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna kill you now."
It's so weird. That's such a weird idea.
It's so bizarre that like I am just like hooked into it, and like even as crazy as it sounds like we're saying it, it's cohesive enough that like I get what everybody's doing and why they're doing it.
It also has a really cool art style, and it's kind of a throwback to that like 2000s era. But it's a way more kind of gritty design than you currently would normally see in these types of anime. So
yeah,
that's
and
fun.
It's got a little bit of a CGI to it, and you could tell it's like the B+, A- class from Shingeki no Bahamut. So that's also who Mappa did. So like you can just kind of tell that's in there a little bit, and I'm totally fine with it. And like the world's just like gritty and like ugly in a beautiful way. It's really cool, like the whole what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I like
also so far in the first 2 episodes, the 2 main women you meet can kick ass.
Yeah, that's always nice to see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting for sure. I don't know. Like, oh, I'm always interested in whatever Netflix is putting out. It seems like they always pick the good ones. So.
Yeah, they have pretty good taste in anime, it seems like.
Yeah, and like this also has a horror tag on it. So it does like a bunch of crazy horror stuff. And it makes me like, if the Junji Ito anime was good, this is kind of what it would have been sort of like.
All right. But Junji Ito was good. It was just interesting.
No.
Oh, I still think about that Grease episode.
I was going to tell you that oil episode.
Yes. There were some of the things in that, or like the bug one.
Ugh.
You have to admit, there were things in that just like never go away.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
I forgot about the bug one. What was that one?
Like where the bug comes out and gets you eventually. Like it eats you.
Mm-hmm. Oh man,
remember?
I hate that.
Still don't know what you're talking about.
Like
well, good.
You really want, it's like
better to forget.
It's juice or whatever. It like makes you high, but then you're like addicted to it. And then like every time you
I remember that episode.
Yeah.
That didn't bother me. Just that oil one though. Jesus. Fucking
I think that
Christ.
fucked with me because like the idea that anytime you get high or drunk, like you have to look over your shoulder like, oh shit, is it gonna get me? Is it gonna get me? Like
nah.
You're
All
like,
right.
no.
So we're halfway through the shows. You guys want to take a quick break and we'll be right back with the rest?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. See ya.
All right, bye.
And here's another tasty morsel from the Trash Pandas Watch Anime podcast.
Some fan service. Yeah. I mean, it worked pretty well in Dragon Ball. Do you remember those scenes with Bulma?
Bulma was running around in a bunny outfit for the longest time.
I know. Akira Toriyama.
We can get the Dragon Balls, and then we can make our wish. Bulma's panties.
Did Oolong wish for Bulma's panties, or did you just wish for a pair of panties?
I think it was just a pair of panties. I'm sure it's different in the Japanese than it is in the English dub. But yeah, he just wished for panties. They're probably used.
As always, you can find us on Facebook and on Twitter at Trash Panda Anime. You can find us on our website, tpwapodcast.com. You can also find us on assorted sites like SoundCloud, Stitcher, and iTunes.
Hey, do you like wrestling?
Whether it be in a bar, an arena, some weird place in Asia, or in a stadium?
Or the occasional penis plex?
Well, if any of these things might tickle your fancy, anywhere in between, from penises to wrestling, you can come and check out our podcast.
Our podcast name is Smack It Down. We talk all things WWE, New Japan, anything else in between.
I'm Jay Silver.
I'm Corey Gold.
And we look forward to you joining us.
Happy Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day indeed.
And we're back, and we've got more anime to talk about.
We have a show full of poop and pee for you.
Gonna lick everybody's mouth as we watch the show.
Lots of body fluids in this.
Seton Academy, join the pack. This is from a manga. It's being made by Studio Gokumi, who worked on Surizure Children and like Yuki Yuna as a Hero. The director, Fumiyuki Go, has mainly only worked as like a sound director before, as far as I could tell. So this is their first like real big director position.
He got a good voice actress for one of his characters.
He definitely did. Hina Kino plays the main dog girl, wolf girl, fucking ball of energy, Ranka Okami, who is really cute, honestly. If a little insane and constantly licking people at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, like...
But the voice actress is who? And they played what?
Asobe Asobase, they played... What was the girl's name, Leo? I don't remember.
Hina. Was it Hina?
Okay.
Did I get that right?
I think that might be right. I don't know.
Hanako. God damn it, I knew it was an H.
Hanako. Oh, yeah, I knew she was one of the main
she
three,
played
but she was the
Hanako,
one,
and like
the
you can
crazy
totally tell it's her. And it's like, that actually brings a smile to my face whenever this Ranka character's on screen now.
Yeah, honestly, like, the only thing
her.
I really like about this show is her voice performance. Like, it's just insane. Like, the fucking sounds that come out of her mouth are just insane. And we talked about this with Asobe Asobase, too. It's like, I don't know how she produces these noises.
How great would it be to watch a recording of her doing her voice acting? Like,
I bet you we could find something.
Awesome.
On like YouTube.
I think you guys just want porn of hers.
No. There's like
the sounds that come out of her mouth.
She's a great voice
acting
work
without being like attracted to like the... I don't know. I know this show is like really lewd and dumb, but like I'm not attracted to her character because of that reason. I just really like the way her voice sounds.
Lewd and dumb, but
yeah,
it's actually accurate in the animal world. Like I don't know. I was listening to your mom's house podcast and we're watching a video of this woman showing you how to interact with wild wolves, and she's like, you have to open your mouth and let them lick on the inside, and you work your way up the chain, and then when you get to, and it's a video of her letting the dogs do this. So like when I saw the show do this, I'm like, oh shit, it's being accurate. That's I'm like I gotta give you some credit for that, because fuck.
I mean, it does have accurate like animal facts and stuff, and it has like little snippets of video of different animals at the midpoint of each episode. But like also it has other things, like the fact that all of the female animal girls look like humans. So you can like maybe decide that you want to have, relations with them. Whereas all the male animal guys just look like animals. Which is like, let's think about that for a second.
This is not a threatening at all.
And I really hated that scene in the first episode where they're like they're arguing with the zebra girl, and she's like, oh, I'm not a donkey, I'm like whatever, and like he's like, oh, I'm gonna prove you're a donkey by like lifting up your skirt and pulling your donkey tail and showing everybody your underwear. Your zebra striped underwear, by the way. I was like, okay, that's a little shitty to do in the first episode, but generally the show is like mostly harmless beyond that kind of stuff, though. It's just really goofy situations. Like there is a sloth girl.
That was kind of funny. It was
I
kind of
like her because she's She's
They
a
had like
sloth.
a gag like every 30 seconds where whatever she did, she died. I was like, that's okay, as long as they just don't overdo it. Then there's the koala character Yukari, and that was kind of funny. And she couldn't. And like, what was it? Ranka made like this dish, and it tasted like literal shit. And Yukari couldn't figure out why she liked it.
No, you're not even telling it right. So okay, she comes in. This girl, she's like, I just know that. I had this thing in my past that I tasted that wasn't eucalyptus, and it was the most delicious thing. And I just really, my goal in life is to find this thing. This is why I exist. And then she like tastes this, and she's like, "Oh my god, this is it! I love it! This is amazing!" And she's like eating it up, and it turns out that it's shit. So like her mom, like when all koalas are born, shit in their baby's mouths so they can get this bacteria that they need delivered to their, digestive system.
To break down eucalyptus. Yeah.
Yes. And to her, this was amazing and delicious, and she wanted some more. And this makes sense why her mom was always like, don't talk about it. Don't say it.
Yeah. Like, which is like earlier scenes, you're like, I don't get it. And then you get to that point and you're like, I get it.
Yeah, because she'd be like, but mom, it was so delicious. I want to know what it was. And she's like, never speak of it. Shut your mouth. It's like,
Yeah.
because she's basically walking around her mom like, I really missed the taste of your shit.
Oh, and like, aren't all the teachers dinosaurs for some reason?
Yeah, like the principal's like a fucking T-Rex or something. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. I don't know. I laugh at this show. Like, I think it's pretty funny. I think most of like the shitty stuff that they did was in the first episode and hasn't been so bad since then with any of that stuff. Every once in a while, I still like watch the show and I'm like, that's questionable, but kind of funny because they're like animal people. And it's usually like the humor is built off of like, well, this is how animals would do things kind of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. It's also just weird that there's like this human guy in the middle of all this. But, of course there is, I guess. He's kind of an asshole too, but
yeah, that's because he hates animals.
Yeah.
Oh, and he actually, in his past, and saved Ranka when they were younger.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Of course, like typical anime.
Like the most anime setup ever.
Yeah, I did find it. I'm like, why did you decide to go to this school with all of these animal people if you don't like animals?
Yeah, bro.
Probably a bad idea. Just saying. I just found this to be just very stereotypical. Like, man has a bunch of animal hybrid girls fawn all over him and crawl all over him and lick him and pool various bodily fluids all over him. I mean, it's standard.
Yeah.
Well, there is one human girl, Hitomi. So.
Yeah, but she's like, bleh, she's boring. Let's be real.
She is pretty boring. I agree. Speaking of animals, there's another show called Pet.
Yeah.
I really like this.
Good luck explaining what the fuck is going on, though.
Well, let me explain what the anime where it's from, and then Kat can go off. Yeah.
What the heck is it this season with psychology anime? Why?
Well,
all
yeah,
of a sudden,
this is very similar in a lot of ways to like ID Invaded, I would say.
Yeah, why all of a sudden were they like, you know what? Let's dump them all on them at once.
I feel like this happens all the time where they like put out two of the exact same anime in the single series, in the single season, and we're always asking like, why now? Like, why? And I think maybe a lot of the time it's like just like, I don't know if they like conspire to do this, but it seems like a marketing tactic where it's like, well, if you don't like one version of this show, you'll like the other version of this show.
Oh boy.
Or like just because like the other show is airing
different.
and it's popular, like our show will get some notoriety because people will be like, oh, but did you know there's this other show that does the same thing but kind of different and it's interesting. I don't know, but it is very weird to me as well that it keeps happening like that. So yeah, this is from Jano Studio, who made Golden Kamui and Kokoku. This very much feels like Kokoku, by the way, in a lot of ways to me.
Yeah,
it does.
It's from a manga. The director, Takahiro Omori, has done a lot of great stuff. He's done Bakano, Durarara, Princess Jellyfish, Natsume Yukin Show.
Yes! Holy fuck! I have to support it just because he did Princess Jellyfish.
I started watching Princess Jellyfish finally, like a couple days ago. It's really good so far. Yeah, I've seen the first 3 episodes of Princess Jellyfish at this point, and I love it.
I'm
it's
so
really good.
happy that you love it.
So yeah, also the other thing I noted is that the OP, like if you couldn't tell, is by TK from Ling Tosite Sigure, who did the Tokyo Ghoul and Psychopaths, like that kind of OP.
Oh yeah.
It's like really high, ridiculously high voice, and so it's another one of those. But yeah, Kat or Leo, like describe this show for.
I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, so there are these people with this ability to shape the memories and feelings of other people, like that, to shape their psyche.
Basically, brainwash them.
Yeah, and it fucks with their psyche to have this ability.
It can.
And from well, I think it just does, because if you remember how the one guy was like, I was that way when I was a child.
Yeah.
Kat, you got to know your mountains and valleys. Come on.
So I think it's almost like being a super, the way they're describing it, how like at baseline they mirror everyone around them, especially as children. It makes me think of like a super empath, like if that was like a superpower, Yeah. Because the show opens with this mom, and she has this child who's just like, brain dead basically, and like just stares at the TV all day. Yeah, and doesn't understand what's going on. Like, why is my child like this? And you find out basically like he's so in tune with her emotions, and she's like so upset with her husband who's having these affairs that like it's fucking with his brain.
He's what they call stuck in his valley.
His valley.
Yeah. Like he has no good in his brain because all he's reflecting is these bad emotions that his mom is having all the time. So he has no good emotions of his own. So like he's just stuck there. So that's kind of interesting. Like another one of these crushers eventually comes and like and basically gives him a good memory, and then he's better. But it's just interesting. I don't know. There's a lot of mafia people in this, or like people that are kind of mafia-esque. So it's not the same show as I mean, this is like if it was the villain. Yeah. I like the little sequences where they're going into like a memory that someone has, and it's very in depth.
Yeah. Also, what's unique is that like everybody who has this ability, which the four of them we know, they have it's a different degree of power. Like one of them is more powerful than the other one, can do and change different things in these memories, which causes them to be manipulated. Yeah.
And I think a lot of that has to do with like the generation that they were, because there was an off comment where like Katsuragi is the first generation of this type of ability, and so he has just not as much ability. And then the second generation, I guess they figured out more things and they developed more abilities, and so they just are more powerful, and they can almost like slap Katsuragi around.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
There is that Hayashi guy who seems to be the same generation as Katsuragi, and he seemed to have been pretty powerful, except he disappeared after his brief showing in episode 1. And then,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting how, I don't know, like there was a scene where the dreadlock dude, like you can tell he has some like innate issues with homosexuality, because like just the way he deals with anything having to do with Hiruka and Tsukasa interacting.
Yeah, that was, I didn't know to feel offended or if that was just his character for the show, because then you're like, okay, well, your two main characters are actually gay. I
like it as a detail, because it's not saying that he's right to feel that way. It's just a thing that people in reality have.
Yeah, because he had another best friend that left.
Yeah, and honestly,
and it kind of makes you wonder if he maybe had thoughts and just didn't know how to cope with it.
It's honestly like a thing that, like, for example, a lot of politicians have, where the more they're like, that's disgusting, or like, oh, that's just really upsets me, like the more likely they are to have some
some pent up issues with that themselves. Yeah.
Exactly. And like when they're fucking with him emotionally, he like starts to see Hiruka and Tsukasa like making out, and he's like, what are you doing? And they're like really not doing anything. It's just like they're pulling like his buttons out, like the things that bother him. It's interesting. I don't know. I liked it a lot. I think that is kind of a mark of a deep show, that they're able to do some nuance and some like subtleties there without like hitting it on the head all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I liked that. There's a lot of background here going on that we're not getting all of yet, but we get little hints. Like, was it whose little brother got crushed to death? I was just like, that's really weird. And like Katsuragi seems like really interested in like, I need to know more about this. And I'm just like, but why? Like, obviously there's something there. There's just a lot of history here, and I feel like it could be really interesting, and I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
You know what really upset me? When they're sitting in the car and Katsuragi puts his fucking cigarette out in his like Satoru's Coke can. I was very upset.
Yeah.
I was very upset. I was like, I want that Coke, bastard.
I love how he just doesn't. He's not even upset. He's just like, and he just
He's
like pours it out.
He just pours
He's
it
like,
out.
this motherfucker. And I also really liked this is what I mean by subtleties. Like when they brainwash the dreadlock guy into thinking that Katsuragi is his best friend instead of the other guy.
Yeah.
They offhandedly, Satoru mentions Katsuragi has been really looking forward to this all day because no one really likes him, and like this is probably the only time in his life where someone genuinely really likes him.
Yeah, I mean,
because he's made out to be a dick right at the beginning, as like he's like smoking in a hospital, and a nurse is like, "You can't smoke in here," and he's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, and so like I like that the show, because that's how people in real life are when they're like super dicks. Like there's parts of them that you can empathize with and be like, oh, but I feel bad for them because they're all alone because nobody wants to be with them because they're an asshole. Like there's consequences to being a dickwad. And, and like instead of a lot of shows where it's like, and they're evil, blah, 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 and we all hate them. Like they do show like the other facets of people other than just like the surface level, what they're using it for in that plot at that time, which is always really interesting to me. And I enjoy seeing that. It's got a depth to it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, and it like I said, it totally reminds me of Inception because like you're going into somebody's mind and like changing a core idea that like makes them who they are, and then when you come back out, they are acting totally differently towards you, like depending on whatever you changed, which is pretty cool. But then it's also dangerous because the memories like come crashing down sometimes when you change too much. You have to be really subtle about the way you do it. So I like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I like it a lot.
The next show, Sorcerous Stabber Orphen.
Stupid title.
I don't. Okay,
kind of
so
agree.
I feel like they remade this, and they didn't even remake it that well. So I don't understand why they bothered.
It's a remake of a 1998 anime.
Yeah,
but if you look
and
at
the light novel
original,
started in 1994.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
If you look at the original, it's not unwatchable.
No.
It reminds me of the original of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. And in my opinion, if you're going to redo something, then it has to be a good quality. You can't just fuckily, shittily redo it. Not now. Like, come on.
The
like,
show
either do
looks
it or
like
don't
I'm
do
watching it in 1995.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of like, why did you try to redo it if you're not even going to make it better? Because if you look at the original, it's not that bad. Like you can obviously tell it's an older style of animation. But honestly, I'm just like, well, I could watch either of these.
But they stuck with the exact same style. It seems. It's just
why? It's like I could watch either of these, the one from 1998 or this one, and I would equally probably get the same thing out of it. Why even bother remaking this? If you're going to not even do it,
why don't you finish introducing it, Bcom? I got more to say too.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah,
none of us like it.
So Studio Dean is making it, and it's from like director Takayuki Hamana, who worked on The Prince of Tennis and Aaron Beast Player as a director. And that's basically all that we haven't said. Like, I watched the first episode of this, and I felt more than anything, not even just by the visuals, but just by like the storyline, propelled back to 1998. Like, I was like, oh, it's a story about a girl who turns into a dragon, and like a boy with a big sword, like, or he's gonna have to like save her, blah blah blah.
A boy with a big sword is gonna save her.
It was just, oh man, like,
are you saying he's gonna fuck a dragon? Holy shit!
Yeah, man, that's a cool new idea.
Be adventurous. Yeah. Oh God, the only way to Okay, I'm not even going to go down there.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
back to
read
the
that
name of
version.
the show.
Yeah.
We think it's stupid, but no, the creator is awful with naming people. He has a guy in this show with magic. His name is Magic with a
Yeah.
J.
I
laughed so hard.
Magic. That's
like,
not even the worst of it. There's some more names in here. There's a guy named Childman Powderfield.
So when I heard Childman, I started
And-
thinking of that recent Kojima game where you have people like Die Hard Man and Heartman. And I was like, oh, so this is where that naming scheme comes from. Sorcerous,
okay, but,
Stabber,
like,
Orphen.
Think about this. Like, all of these are foreign words to people in Japan. So
Sure,
probably to
yeah.
them, this sounds like very exotic.
Oh,
and like
let me-
something
okay.
they kind of know what
Let
it
me give
means,
you
but
another
not
name.
really.
Another
yeah.
name? Forte Packing Gum. Like, that's so far off. I feel like I debunked your theory just there. Just like, they gotta
Well, but
know what
they don't
gum
know what
is.
that means. That's the thing. They don't know what that means. To them, all that sounds like is a bunch of exotic, like sexy words like put together.
Packing gum is
They
not
don't know. They don't
exotic.
know that means something. They
not
just know it sounds like a Western word. So they're like, yeah, like whatever. I'm telling you, that's exactly
And
why
they
they
look
do
it up
it.
and they're like, her name means like gum? Or like, what?
Gummu, wherever you
It's
say
just
it
like
in
how
Japanese.
when we
yeah.
grew up and we were like listening to Dragon Ball Z, we didn't think that those were stupid names.
Yeah, that's true.
We thought they sounded exotic and slightly interesting. We didn't know that they were literally just food names. Okay? Like, it's just like that. That's all it is.
Yeah, he meets this like blonde girl in the first episode named like Chloe Everlasting or something, and
That was the
other.
only thing I
Yeah.
liked about it. I liked her interaction with Orphen. That was it.
Yeah, she was kind of fun. Yeah, Orphan seems to be like kind of like a dick, but not in like the worst way. Like he's okay.
Orphan's like the guy who he once was such a sweet young boy, and now he's an asshole.
And then
I know,
his
an edgy
best
teenager.
friend that was a female that got turned into a dragon.
I wear a red bandana now.
An American dragon. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. This show is just like maybe it's fine. I don't know. I really
It's not.
I
It's not.
don't get anything out of it. Yeah.
It's not unique. It's not. I mean, like, you can watch it and not want to pull your hair out while you watch it, but it's just not anything valuable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Speaking of valuable shows that we need to watch, Bofuri, I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense.
It's interesting to me that so of Bofuri and Infinite Dendrogram,
Yeah.
I feel like these are both. Okay, so I almost always hate all isekais.
Yes.
Yes.
These two are isekais that I don't hate, which
What?
is interesting.
Okay,
I know.
you'll have to
I
say that
know.
for Infinite Dendrogram.
Leo's ready to go off.
So which of these you like more personally has a lot to do with like what kind of style you like to play in a game and like what kind of feel you like to your stories. Because I see Bofuri as very much like a grinding,
No,
slow
I totally
paced game.
disagree with what you just said. 100%.
Oh really?
Leo's
Oh
upset.
really?
I
I'm
don't-
shocked.
I
Holy
don't-
shit!
I don't
Leo
play
and I
tank.
have different opinions of
I
what's
don't play
going on
tank,
in
so
an
there's
isekai.
no way that can be true about
Everyone
Bofuri, which is
stop.
way better.
We're always on the same page, Leo and I, on isekais. I'm shocked. We have different opinions.
Your theory is not true
You
in
know
the
what? It's
slightest.
amazing to me that like every season you come to me, Leo, and you're like, this isekai, this piece of shit that I scraped off the sidewalk with a spatula and brought into your goddamn kitchen. Try some, cat. It's amazing. And I do it every season, and I tell you it's shit, and you argue with me. And then we have some isekai that are decent, and you sit here and fight me about it. It's amazing. It's amazing. What problem do you have with Bofuri, Leo?
No, Bofuri's the better show. The fact you're comparing it to Infinite Dendrogram is like appalling to me. And if you want to say my gaming playstyle depends on which one I like more, I'm not a tank. So, and me liking Bofuri more totally blows
It's
your
not
theory out
about
of the
being
water.
a tank. It's about whether you like to grind and like slowly build, or like you like that kind of like instant like thing.
Gratification, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see what you're saying, yeah. So Bofuri is from a light novel, Studio Silver Link, who makes some good-looking stuff. The director, Shin Onuma, worked on Kokoro Connect, Fatale Melodies Memories, and like Chivalry of a Failed Knight, which I remember having fun with back in the day. So yeah, like let's talk about a little bit what makes this anime fun. So it's centered around a girl named Maple. Her friend Sally has like gotten her into this VR MMO. It's so funny when the show starts because like she puts on the helmet and it does like the exact same boot up sequence from Sword Art Online. I was laughing so hard at that. It's basically the Sword Art Online headset, except there's none of the like, oh, if you're dying in the game, you'll die in real life bullshit. It's nothing like that. It's nothing sinister. It's just like a fun MMO. And so she knows nothing about how to like spec her character. She just doesn't know anything about this. And she's like, she looks at the stat sheet or whatever, and she's like, I guess I'll put all my points into like vitality because I don't want to get hurt. That would suck if I got hurt in this game. So she puts every single one of her points into like vitality, which is like the defense stat of this game, and chooses the shield class.
And you've lost Cat already.
No, it's fine. Chooses the shield class so she can be the rising of the shield hero. And
how dare you insult this show like this?
I mean, it wasn't that bad. Like, the Rising the Shield Hero did get better over time. Like, there were shitty parts of it, but like, there were shitty parts of it. There will always be. But like, at least it was well made.
It was a pretty well made show. Yeah. So Maple like just goes around, and it turns out that this build is super broken because like she just like goes off and she gets told to go off into this like nearby forest to fight some like little monsters.
I wanted the blonde girl who told her to go to the forest to be trolling her.
Yeah, me too.
Because that would be such a fucking gaming legit experience.
Yeah, gets
like
sent
she
to like
her
the veteran area immediately.
Yeah, and she just gets fucking destroyed.
But like that doesn't happen. Like she goes off and it actually is like a pretty good place to like level up. And like she starts just getting hit by this like little bunny rabbit, and she's just like doesn't feel anything because she has high defense. And she just lets this bunny rabbit hit her for like 20 minutes. And she just levels up and she starts getting all these defensive abilities that are more and more broken. And her vitality doubles. And she keeps leveling up and she puts all of her points into vitality. She just becomes tankier and tankier and tankier. And it's so ridiculous. Like she eventually like gets some advice. Like, well, I think in the second episode it is, like, she decides that, actually, I don't know if it was still in the first episode. No, it's still in the first episode where, like, she goes, because she wants to buy, like, a cool-looking shield. She goes to, like, the blacksmith, and they're like, yeah, that'll be, like, $1 million. And she's like, I don't have that. And so she's like, well, you can go, at some point, you can go to this, like, cave nearby and fight the dragon there, and you can get the materials and, like, the money that you need for new, like, armor and weapons. And she like sends like Maple off to go do that. And well, she sends Maple off thinking like she'll just go level up a lot longer, and then eventually maybe with like a party go fight this dragon. But Maple's like, nah, I'm just go straight to this dragon because I don't know anything about how games work. And she like
was actually grinding against me a little bit. It was like,
oh yeah,
she just had no idea how to do anything. But it was working for her. And like it was almost the gamer inside me was like getting angry about it. It was like,
yeah, like the other gamers in the game were kind of getting angry too. Like that's the best part of this. Like because she starts getting so broken that like the other gamers are like, oh my god, she's like superhuman. What the fuck? This is broken.
It's like that Firestone staff in fucking Realm Royale right now. Yeah, exactly. God damn it,
like
fix that shit for console.
So, like, basically, long story short, she had gotten some poison immunity, and so she goes to fight this dragon, and, like, it has poison attacks.
She got it while fighting the dragon.
She got it a little bit of it initially.
She got it before, but she perfected it with the dragon.
Yeah, she perfected it. She got actual poison immunity. She had poison resist before, Leo's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and then, like, the dragon has to do physical attacks against her, and she's like, oh, shit, I don't know what to do against physical attacks. So she just starts eating the dragon. She just bites.
Yep.
She just
I was
fucking
like,
noms
why
it.
would you eat the dragon? I don't understand. Like,
I'm sitting there like, this poor virtual dragon is getting eaten alive by this little girl. I feel bad for him.
I felt bad for the dragon too.
I was like, why aren't you fighting? Because it just sits there and lets her eat. And I'm like, wouldn't he fight? Wouldn't he be like,
No,
fuck
he
off?
was trying to fight, and like I'm
But
sitting there,
not
and
really.
as I'm watching, I'm like, "Who's the real monster here?"
Yeah, I'm like, right? She's a monster. And then like, okay, because she's so broken, she's got poison immunity now. She's got all these like defense buffs. Then she gets like the powers of this dragon.
Yeah.
Like the magical powers, and also she gets unlocks like a secret chest that has like one-time armor and a shield that only she owns. And she's able to give the shield this devour ability because by eating the dragon, she got a special ability called devour, which allows you to like devour your enemies. And then she just uses the shield to devour things from then on, so we don't have to get to like the gross scenes of her eating things. Oh, it's so funny. And then, okay, long story short, they introduce her friend Sally. Finally, is able to play the game in episode 2.
God, I needed somebody who knew how to play this fucking game show.
And I
Whatever.
like that they gave her a lot of attention too. They didn't just like
Yes.
have her as a side character. Like they actually did have like the whole scene with her with the underground like monster.
Yeah, that was
and,
really
like,
cool too. Yeah.
Yeah, like they didn't just be like, and you're a cute side character. Let's focus on this main girl. Like they actually did give her
Yeah,
a fair.
episode 2 was pretty much her episode for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can
They're-
tell like these girls are friends like outside the game because like they act like friends in the game too because like Maple's like, oh yeah, I need to go to this cave to like get some fish scales because I want a different shield from the blacksmith. Because like my devour shield is so OP, I can't use it all the time. And so like they go, and then Sally discovers this like secret thing under the lake, and Maple's like, oh, I can tell you want to like keep coming back here every day. Let's do that. Like I don't mind. Like I'm here to play this game with you because you're my friend.
Well,
And so,
Maple
like,
also was
rarely see
collecting
that in an MMO.
scales for a new shield.
Yeah.
So she
Yeah,
still had a
exactly.
reason to go, but yeah.
She has a reason to go, but like also like she was happy to just be there like with her friend, which is cool. It's like a nice feeling in one of these anime to just have like friends like having each other's back. And I like how Sally like she sees that Maple is this crazy monster, and she's like, how can I be a good party member with her? Like, how can I like work together synergistically? And she's like, oh, I'll be a swashbuckling class, so like I'll also be able to like evade like every attack with my high agility, so like neither of them will ever take damage basically. So I really like that.
Was one thing in this show that really bugged me. It was in both first 2 episodes. I don't know how intentional it was or not, but if you want to read the fucking text message segments, you gotta play it like a fucking quick time event in a goddamn video game, and they're mashing the pause button every half or 2 seconds. You just don't know when. You just gotta stare down the screen and pause it if you want to read everything that's on there.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
So fucking quick.
It's like the in-game chat just like scrolls by so fast. It's like, and it's not very important. Like I paused and looked at it, and it's like, oh, this girl's overpowered. What the fuck? Yeah, I did like, one of the things I really liked is that the developers of the game, whoever the hell they are, saw that she was using the Devour ability with her shield and just like destroying everything with it in like a recent like a PvP event that happens in the game. And they decide to change, they like patch the game so weaken the Devour ability. This happens in the next episode that we're not
Well, you
covering.
shouldn't talk about it then. Shut your mouth.
But no, I want to
Bcom.
talk about it because I think it's just important that like, oh, she's not going to always be OP because like, or they recognize that she is overpowered and they're trying to fix it, but like she's still breaking the game.
Okay,
It's
so
pretty
that's
funny.
accurate to real life at least
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah.
I like that. So yeah, I have a lot of fun with this show. It's just goofy, and it has a lot of fun with the idea of being in an MMO, which a lot of like MMO shows these days, like after Sword Art, have been like so fucking serious.
Oh, I know. And it's like, and everyone's dying, and there's pain and blood, and this is like lighthearted and fun, but like also has a plot and like mechanics to it. I enjoy it a lot too. I agree.
All right, so next show, number 24.
No.
Did you guys really not like watch this at all?
I think
Neither
I
of you?
watched some of the
No.
first episode, and I was like, I'll watch this later, and then I never did.
Sport. I'm out.
Okay, so So my impressions of this, I was watching it, and at first I was really excited because I thought it was a football anime.
Mm-hmm. I wish.
I don't fucking know a lot
if there was a football anime, I would watch the shit out of it. I mean, I know there's
football
High Shield
anime?
21, but
What? This looks like a rugby anime.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, and so then because I mean, it's the same fucking ball. I don't know football that well, so I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm excited. And then I was like, oh no, it's rugby. But then I was also excited because rugby's still kind of different. There's only one other rugby anime.
There's a couple more than that because like in that past 2 or 3 years, there's been like 3 actually. I think I know there's All Out, and I know there was at least one other one.
All Out
recently.
is the one I know of.
Yeah,
with the guys with the nice butts.
Ice Shield's a football anime.
Yeah,
Ice Shield is
that's
a
a football
football
anime. Which
Yeah.
I wish there was another football anime. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it would have been better as a I don't know, but it's interesting. Now the second thing I noticed is that all of the characters have like idol boy faces.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like took a screenshot of this team and you like cut it from the neck up, you'd be like, so this is a boys idol anime.
Yeah,
But then
from
if
the
you
neck
like,
down.
yeah, and then you're like, oh no, these people are muscular. So that's interesting. It's definitely one of those shows that they really want like Japanese housewives to watch while their children are taking a nap. And like secretly fantasize about who's shipped with who and like all of that. I definitely think that's why they do that with a lot of sports anime. They're like, come on, we gotta get some girls to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're so girly. It's a little odd. I don't know. Like, I'm excited to see how the animation of the actual playing is. But in 2 episodes, they haven't even gotten to any time on the field at all, which is not promising.
That's frustrating because that was the same thing I think that happened with All Out. If I remember when I watched like the first 1 or 2 episodes of that, I was like, they're not even playing fucking rugby. Like, what's happening? Like, play rugby.
Yeah, like Haikyuu, they play right away.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a mark of a well balanced show to me because Haikyuu is very ship heavy and like the characters are very pretty. Yeah, but it also is heavy into high tension, high competitiveness, like actual play time going on, and that's why it is the best modern sports anime. Yeah, the most popular anyway.
For sure,
because it's an amazing 50-50 balance of we can attract the girls to watch this show. We can also attract boys to watch this show. It's got something for everyone, you know.
For sure. Gets me really pumped up watching it, for sure.
Yeah, so like they've done a good job of balancing the different aims and the different audiences that sports anime appeal to, because it is a very split audience in that way. Yeah. The same people who are watching like boxing sports anime are not watching like Yomushi Pedal usually. Yeah. You know? So that's why that does well. I'm thinking that this is more of a Yomushi Pedal audience. Okay. Just because I'm not seeing any playtime so far, and we're already 2 episodes in. I've watched an hour of the show. There's been no rugby. So unless it's really good in the 3rd episode, and I'll keep watching it, it's not going to be what I want it to be. But that's okay. I still enjoy it for what it is. Basically, it's this dramatic. The main character had this accident. He can't play rugby anymore. He comes back after a year, can like barely do basic stuff, has to do like really light, and he is now the manager of this team, and that he used to be the star player on. And then
sounds like Run with the Wind to me so far.
Kind of. Yeah. So there's like elements, and like the 2nd episode is him convincing like their 2nd top player to come back to the team because he left in like dramatic fashion after his accident. It you know, it's kind of stereotypical. Yeah. It's got interesting parts to it. I'll keep watching and seeing, but it's not like this show is a must, you know.
Yeah, it's just like with the recent, some recent sports shows, I've just been like, I'll wait and see what people think about this before like jumping into it, because a lot of them have been a waste of time. But
I really want there to be like really good sports anime that come out that are new. But there just doesn't seem to be a lot of like, we're going to put a lot of funding into this for sports anime, which is very frustrating to me.
It's because
at least we'll have Haikyuu this season, which really will be well funded.
like typically sports anime don't sell as well, and especially like overseas. Like in the United States, like sports anime usually do not sell very well. Like I think Kuroko no Basuke and like Haikyuu are probably an exception recently. But typically they don't sell too well. So I think that's probably why you don't see too many of them trying. But
I think it's really just that they know I think like, okay, in the 70s, in the 80s, the ones that did very well, the sports anime that did the best were the ones that appealed to like this very manly, like, oh, you're going to like be the best at your sport. You're going to keep trying. And like all the boxing anime were that way, like Hajime no Ippo, or like the really nice baseball anime, which I've watched so much. Major is very much like that, very manly.
And Touch is similar. Well, Touch is kind of like a romance, but like a threesome romance, whatever.
Yeah, and that's what did well then in the sports anime genre. And then they almost like had to flip it and like get more to change to get more girls to watch it, because like there was just more competition or something. I don't know. Like guys stopped being as into sports anime. Who knows what happened? And then it almost went like too far to that side for a while. And then I think the ones that do really well now in the modern age are the ones that balance it very well, where like they can attract guys to watch it and girls to watch it. Because Kuroko no Basuke was similar to Haikyuu in that way.
Yeah, because guys would watch that to watch like awesome moves that were like used by like the late great Kobe Bryant, like had some moves that were like fashioned after his style in that anime that like people who really watch basketball are like, oh, I've seen that move before. I know exactly where that's from.
Exactly. So I think that's really what it takes now for a sports anime to do well.
Sure.
And just not very many are made that way. So it's unfortunate.
All right. Next show, Hatena Illusion. This is from a light novel. The studio is Children's Playground Entertainment, which I've like never heard of before. And the director Shin Matsuo was like an episode director on shows like Tokyo Ghoul and Sound of the Sky and Soul Eater. The basic setup of the show is that
they did Citrus. What are you talking about?
Wait, did they? No, they didn't. Wait, Citrus?
It's right there.
Were they the only one to work on Citrus? Or were they the main studio to work on Citrus? Because I thought Citrus was like something else.
Passionate.
Oh, so they probably did help. They probably helped out.
Probably helped.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think this is one of their first full anime for Hatena Illusion, and so basically, it's a show that centers around like this person Makoto who dreams of becoming a magician, and so they are coming to Tokyo to like.
Didn't we just have this show last season?
Did we?
An ecchi show where a girl wanted to
what
be
was it called?
Magician?
Yeah, something san.
It's not really an ecchi show though.
It's not like, super ecchi. No,
it's got the tagline.
Well, of course,
but it's barely. It's like barely an ecchi show.
So like, yeah, this kid wants to become a musician and like comes to Tokyo to work under this world famous illusionist Mamoru Hoshisato, who's like their families have been friends for a long time. And the whole funny thing in the first episode is that the girl, or one of the girls who lives in this big mansion with the illusionist, her name is Kana, and she remembers Makoto from when they were kids and like remembers playing with together and stuff. And she thinks that Makoto was a girl, but it turns out Makoto is actually a boy.
It was so overdone. I'm like, how did that happen even? I mean, come on. Yeah, that's silly.
It's pretty goofy. Yeah. Like, I know when you're like really little that like the boy-girl stuff doesn't matter as much, like until a certain point. So like I can see this happening, but it was also just really goofy. And so, yeah, I don't know. They just like kind of riff off of that for a little while. Then, but like, yeah, it seems like her family, they're not like just illusionists. Like they seem to be able to use like real magic, I think.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's going to be the twist. Like in episode 7, I'm going to guess 7. We've watched too many fucking anime. We're like, how much you want to bet in episode 7? Like,
yeah, I think I watched episode 2. I think it might have even come earlier than that. Like I think they might have already been hinting at it. Like,
oh, I mean they're already hinting, but how much you want to bet? Like you'll know, but then they're gonna reveal.
Yeah, they'll play it out for a while. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get much else out of this show is the thing. Like, I thought it was kind of cute and sometimes funny, and that was about it. I just wasn't really invested in, like, the main character wanting to become a magician, really. Like, I was like, okay.
I felt the same way. I was kind of like, all right, it's well done in some ways. Like, it's okay.
And it was, I guess it was funny how, like, the girl was acting so cutesy because she thought her friend was, like, a girl and they were everything. And then, like, once she figures out that he's a boy, starts acting like a total tsundere. That was fun, that shift in her personality. But, yeah, I don't know if it's going to, like, carry a show. But it's like, going to be, like, an ecchi rom-com, basically. It'll be fun, I guess.
Yep. Okay.
All right. The next show, which we talked about a little bit when we were talking about Bofuri, is Infinite Dendrogram. It's on Funimation also. It's from a light novel. Studio NAZ again, who we talked about. They made Anglemois. Director Tomoki Kobayashi has made Akame ga Kill 100, which, oh my god, what a stupid anime. I loved it, though. And Seiren. And so, yeah, this... I watched the first episode of this, and
it's so fucking cheesy.
I felt it was really bland. Like, that was the thing I got out of Infinite Dendrogram, was just like, this is like a very basic MMO show. It's not doing anything like offensive, which
would
is
you
like,
say extremely unoriginal? Just this like,
yeah, just generic.
Nothing.
It was pretty generic, is how I felt about it. Yeah, but like
I
you seem to
agree
get
that
more
it
out
was
of
generic,
Yeah.
but I thought it was better done than 90% of them.
I totally agree with you that I think it is like better done, and it also isn't like shitty as like half of them, like just like with the themes they have. But yeah.
So what really gets me of a lot of these is it's so blatant. Like, there's just almost not even a plot. Like you can have something that's very like it's been done before with me, as long as you do it well and I'm not bored while I'm watching it. That's okay. Like, I'm not going to give you points for originality, but like if I can watch it and be like, all right, I enjoy this, like that's fine. And I felt like this was well done. The thing that really pisses me off about a lot of isekai is when you'll be watching it and it's just like, now let's introduce the cast of half scantily clad girls.
Yeah.
Come on in. And like the pandering and like the low jokes and the like it's just so crude a lot of times, and I wasn't getting that crudeness here. There's not a lot of like stuff that turns me off about most isekai. This I could watch. Like, I don't understand how you're shitting on this, but you watched that wrestling isekai last season. It was gourmet. Shit was good. Like,
the thing about that show is that the characters had a lot of personality, though. Even if like this story is kind of like dumb at times, like Leo said, like everybody like was making him laugh constantly. Like,
did they have personality though? Because there was no depth to their character.
Even if they were like tropes, those tropes were funnier than like what's going on in this show. I feel like is the key difference.
Wrestling anime?
You know, the one, oh my god, I'm already blanking. It's been so long.
The one where they chant and he's in the ring at the beginning and you're like, what? Yeah.
It's fucking, oh my god, it's on the tip of my tongue. I'm looking it up right now. Sorry.
I'm actually
Animal Mask.
Kimono Michi.
Kimono Michi.
Yeah,
oh,
like
the
your
comedy?
favorite fucking show.
So like,
you calling it a wrestling anime threw me way the fuck up. I was like, what wrestling anime did I like?
That's the isekai premise.
The final episode is like a
like,
wrestling match.
I don't know. It just threw me off. I was like, I didn't watch any sports anime wrestling. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's funny.
My favorite thing about Infinite Dendrogram is in our notes that Bcom and I both specifically say, just go watch Bofuri instead.
I like Bofuri better, but like I didn't dislike this. Like I found it to just be kind of like, oh, okay, I could watch more of this. Like, this is all right.
I honestly didn't hate this. I was just kind of like meh. And I don't know.
I wasn't like, oh, I need to watch this. Yeah. But I also wasn't, I didn't come away from it like furious like I do with most isekai I watch and like, fuck this and fuck da-da-da-da. Like I didn't have that reaction. And so to me, like they've done at least a good job. They've done what needs to be done to me for me not to hate on it. So it's not terrible. If you feel like
oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know.
His brother's in the
somehow.
game in like a bear suit. I was just like, what?
And it's like, well, I can't reveal my identity. And the other brother's like, you're right. Yeah, you can. And I'm just like, all right, that's going to be something that's revealed later. But yeah, no, I'd say if you really like isekais, this one is better than 90% of them. So you will probably really like this. Otherwise, don't bother. It's not like some gem or anything, but it's all right.
Okay, and then the last show we're covering today is Toilet Bound Hanako-kun on Funimation, which is from a manga and from Studio Lerche. And the director, Masaomi Ando, directed School Live, Scum's Wish, Astro Lost in Space, and White Album 2. All pretty damn good shows. So yeah, I think...
Except this one.
Wait, what'd you say, Leo?
I said except this one.
Well, so I don't know if this show is great... But what I will say is that I really like the aesthetic of it. The character designs are really nice. The art style and like the background art is really gorgeous at times. I find like the dynamic between like the main girl and the main guy, Hanako-kun, to be pretty funny most of the time. But then like I also find myself, as I've been like going on watching the show, I find myself like losing interest like sometimes as well. Like I think it's a pretty decent comedy, but not a great one, is like where I would come down on this. Like, what have you thought of it so far, Leo?
The comedy is not sticking for me whatsoever. My big issue is how it's animated. Like the art style, I think it looks amazing.
Yeah.
But what it really makes me think of is like if you play Cat's not going to get this, but you will Bcom. If you play a video game at 60 frames per second, for like, let's just say a week, put a good amount in there.
Sure.
And you go and play like, say it was a shooter. You go play another shooter at 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
It's fucking jarring as hell. So a lot of this, to me, it's a still frame and they have a character and they do 2 or 3 moves or they just move their mouth for 5 to 10 seconds and then it just jumps to a different frame and you do the exact same thing. And I'm like immediately pulled out of the show and it's just jarring. Just like I already said, it's just so jarring for me. And then just the comedy just doesn't stick. So just can't really, I just don't like it. Not at all.
Yeah, I can understand.
Like it. I like it actually.
What
I like
have you thought, Kat?
I find it entertaining. I think from week to week it will have a slow pace.
Yeah.
Probably fight like Monster of the Week style kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh my God, it's amazing. But I like the unique art.
If it wasn't a full 24 minutes of it, I think I would be okay. If it was like a short, 100% on, it even made me think of like, oh, this would be like great for like a tutorial in a video game. Like this would be perfect. But like the full 24 minutes it's just too much for me.
I think I've felt the same way on about a couple episodes. Like if these were 12 minutes long, this would be snappy and this would be really nice. But like some of them like just don't justify the 24-minute count. Like I liked the full first episode. Like I think I liked that all the way through. But like the second and third episode, I found my attention like wandering a little bit as I was watching those. But I still really like the main girl and the main guy, like kind of like contracting her basically to, you know, help him out of his fucking toilet situation is fun. But yeah, I don't know. And then like, you know, there's the third guy, Ko, who gets involved also. It's like
They're
sort
both
of
very cute.
a romance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the art style just
cute.
makes everybody look really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, like I said, what I liked. It's just the way they animated it. It just bugs me so much just to keep watching it.
It's just average, I'd say. It's not like we need to watch this, but
it's also
that's a lot of the shows this season. Really, they're like average. They're not like we need to watch.
It's got
this
a 7.77 on my anime list.
That's actually pretty high. Like that's decently high for a new show.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people saying positive stuff about it. And I don't know. I just don't get it.
I don't know. So far, I think we'll have like a couple where we know we're going to cover them, and then the rest, it's really all up in the air. Because there's a lot of like shows that are okay, but there's not a lot of like standouts.
I was kind of chuckling to myself a little bit in the first episode because I'm watching this and I'm like watching her talk to this like toilet spirit. I'm just like thinking of Harry Potter and like moaning Myrtle and like, how they had to like go to her several times. Yeah. I was like, oh, I wonder if this is where that came from, this Hanako-kun story.
I thought of the exact same thing, actually.
Yeah.
And Kat's the big Harry Potter fan here, and it sounds like she didn't.
Well, he's so different as a character.
He is very different.
Yeah, but you told me toilet ghost, and the first thing that comes to my mind is moaning Myrtle. So
yeah. But she's so dramatic and like, I don't know, yeah.
But yeah, it seems like they're just gonna like sort of solve the hidden mysteries of their school, which is like, it's fine. Like it's not that much different from the setup for an anime I really love, Hyoka. So, but like that was quite different.
There's a lot of animes that like go on like the 7 or like 9
wonders of the school.
Myths or something of the school or whatever they want to use.
Reminds me of Wallflower because like I think she is the like 9th wonder of the school or something.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I loved that manga for so long. I read that, so it was so cyclical, but I loved it so much.
All right. Anything else before we sign off? Or
it's funny you say Wallflower because I did not immediately think of a manga. I just thought of One Headlight song.
And I thought of The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which is a book.
Okay. See, the Wallflower manga is just basically about this like poor wallflower girl who like when you actually doll her up a little, she's pretty, but like she's ugly otherwise, and she really likes all this gothic shit. And her aunt, because apparently, of course, her parents are dead because that's the way that works, right?
That's anime, yeah.
Her rich aunt is like, we need to fix you with the power of love, and so she like has 4 really, really hot dudes live in this mansion with her in an attempt to like get her interested in one of them or something, and all of them are like, no, we'll just be friends with you. And like eventually a romance like kind of develops between 2 of them. And then the rest of the manga is just like her aunt being like, have sex with him already, be a woman, date. And then be like, no, we don't want to. And like there's always like a scene where the aunt like locks them in some room and condoms like fall from the ceiling and she's like, do it. And they're like, no. And so it's very dramatic. I love that. It was an interesting manga.
Well, we still have some more interesting anime up for the second half of this, so definitely tune in for that. The Wall commands you to tune in for the second half of our impressions.
Yes,
I'm so glad that Kat's into it.
Okay, so there are a few good ones.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. Nah, this next episode looks like garbage, if you ask me.
No, the science one, the science of love.
Oh, you like that one? Okay, yeah, that one's kind of fun. Yes, I will agree. There's also Nekopara.
I was going to say, what about Nekopara? Is that?
yeah, that could be all right. Yeah.
Oh, where's hilarious. The one where they interspecies reviewers? I've read that manga.
So that show's funny because like that show got taken down off of Funimation recently.
I saw that.
Oh man!
Because they like didn't realize it was straight up like basically porn at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's Haikyuu. We get to talk about Haikyuu next week. Episode.
No,
so it's not all bad.
You can talk about Haikyuu and then we can edit it out.
No, Leo, you can sit in your little fucking bench and whine and twiddle your thumbs. And you know what? Bcom and I will fucking talk about Haikyuu. Because apparently you're not cool enough. You're not fucking cool enough to talk about it with us. And that's okay. We're okay with that.
I do never want to be that cool.
That's fine. You would never
about
You think you're cooler than me. What is that? How's that song go? Like, you think you're cooler than me? Got your aura all figured out.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. I know what sort of dog.
Yeah.
Song, whatever. Oh, Jesus.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube to get updates and on the new podcasts and videos we put out. You can also always find our podcast in audio form on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, pretty much everywhere. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, @Nerdom and Other, we'll update you when new episodes come out. And also, you can always come out and hang with us on Discord. There's a link to join our Discord in the description of this video or in the podcast feed. And with all that said, we will see you next time, where the wall will tell you what anime to watch this season.
Oh, boy. Now we're listening to walls.
I'm excited for it. Bye.
Later.